depending on where in the world you are tuning into the show. All right, check this out, check this out, check this out. I changed the title of that, but it didn't change. I don't know why it didn't change. The title of that says Halloween, the Real Story. That's not true. If you're on TikTok, hopefully you guys can hear me on TikTok. I am live on TikTok. I am live on Instagram. I am live on YouTube. And I am live on Facebook. All right. So those of you who are, let me get back into the comments over here. So I'm monitoring the comments. I'm trying to monitor the comments over here on TikTok, but I'm live on TikTok on my phone right here, and I'm live on 3 other places that I can look at and see the chats there. So you guys say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good tomorrow. Check this out, check this out. All right. So hopefully you guys will be able to hear. I should have done sound check when I had the music playing for the beginning of the show. I should have went live a little bit early, but I wasn't sure. So I'm not sure if there's a reverb or how the sound is when we start playing. So we'll find out what's going on there when that happens, because I'm not in the studio on my computer. I'm actually in the studio on my phone, and I'm sitting here in the studio on my computer with monitors up, and I'm live on TikTok where I can only see myself there, and I'm live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So this is Orion Rising. You don't know that because the title on this thing says Halloween, the True Story. I apologize for that. It is Halloween. So happy Halloween, happy Samhain. There's many different holidays that are happening today, but that's not why we're live. We're live today to talk about the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. So if I'm looking at you guys over here on the camera, if you guys see me looking up, I'm looking up on the camera over here to look at everybody else that we're live on. You guys will be able to hear the audio. Hopefully, I'm going to play the audio and do a sound check here in a second. You guys will be able to hear the audio. You're going to be hearing the audio. If you are watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, you'd be able to see the visuals on the screen. Let me take this overlay down for those of you that are on all the other platforms. I have the overlay up here right now, and you guys can't see me. Okay, so let me have the overlay down and put myself up in full screen over there. So now I'm in full screen on TikTok, and I'm on full screen everywhere else in the world. Okay, so everybody share this out. It is 9 a.m. in the morning in New South Wales, over here in Australia. That is 3 p.m. West Coast America time, or 6 p.m. East Coast America time. And we are live, and I'm simulcasting on TikTok at the same time as simulcasting on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. So that's kind of cool, right? I was trying to put the studios up at the same time, but I didn't have another camera, and we're having a microphone problem. So I decided to just go live on my cell phone right here on TikTok. So good morning to everybody, or good afternoon, or good evening, or good tomorrow. So I'm going to do a sound check. We're going to go ahead and go live, or go ahead and start. I'm going to start playing the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, and you guys should be able to hear it. But you guys on TikTok won't see the visuals for it, but you will be able to hear the audio. Hopefully there won't be an issue. We'll see. I got the audio up pretty good in the speakers next to one another, so you should be able to hear the audio of the Emerald Tablets. We're on tablet number 11. For those of you on TikTok, you guys haven't seen the show because I've been on other platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and then I go the MP3 file goes out to the world all over the place for you to listen to, and that'll be up also, and I'll put segments of that on TikTok for those of you who pop in and happen to see this. Okay, so welcome to everybody on TikTok that's popping in over there. I can see some names. I can see Sunshine. Is it Sunshine's popped in? I see my wife Brooke there. I see Anna there. I see a few other people popping in. So smash those hearts for me over there on TikTok, champions, and get that up so we can get all the criteria that TikTok needs me to get, so we can continue coming live to you and bringing you this content. So today we're going to be talking about the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the Atlantean, and I'm going to be interpreting that for you guys. If you guys don't know who I am, check my bio. Those of you that are tuning in on all the other channels, you guys probably know what's going on because you're here for that. Reese, welcome, brother. Reese is over there on Facebook. Welcome, namaste. How you doing? I got the chat back up. I didn't have the chat up. So I'm going to go ahead and pull myself out of full screen over on all the other platforms, but over here, you guys are going to still see me here. And we're going to put the Emerald Tablets of Thoth up in full screen. I'm going to go ahead and start that. You guys on TikTok, give me a sound check over there. Also, you guys, everybody else, give me a sound check. Make sure you can hear the sound from the YouTube channel that I'm playing. Those of you on TikTok, let me know if you can hear the audio, okay, of the Emerald Tablets as they're playing. So I'm going to go ahead and press play, and we'll do an audio check for all of you guys on all the platforms, okay? So here we go. This is the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, and we're on tablet number 11. Okay, and we're going to discuss that. So get your thinking caps on, all you kids over there on TikTok. Get your thinking caps on. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth, tablet 11. Let's start playing it here. Let's see how you guys are with it. Let's go with the sound check, and you guys let me know on TikTok if you can hear it.
Tablet 11, the key to above and below. Hear ye and listen ye, O children of Chem, to the words that I give, that shall bring ye to the light. Ye know, O men, that I knew your fathers, I, your fathers in a time long ago. Deathless have I been through all the ages, living among ye since your knowledge began. Leading ye upward to the light of the great soul have I ever.
All right, so I'm glad you guys can hear it okay on TikTok. And once I get the studio working, if I can figure out how to I can't use StreamYard on TikTok because I have to use TikTok's products to do it. So I'm going to see if I can figure out how to, because if I was on the studio, not on here, I could play what you guys are seeing. You guys could see it as well. And I could play it on the screen. Unfortunately, because I have to go live on TikTok on my phone because I can't use both studios at the same time. And this TikTok doesn't allow me to use an outside source to go live on TikTok unless it's a gaming source. So I'm trying to figure that out. Maybe I can go on a gaming platform and then stream it. So I'll figure that out because right now I'm on StreamYard everywhere else. StreamYard, you guys can see the visuals of what you're hearing, but you guys on TikTok can't see the visuals, the words that's scrolling on the screen, but you guys can hear it okay. So if you have any questions, let me know. So it's Emerald Tablet 11 of the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the key to above and below. Okay, so let's continue here.
Striven.
And so that everybody knows, if you guys have questions, please put them. Thank you, Reese, for letting me know that the sound sounds good on all the other platforms. Let me know, like I said, that you guys have any questions. Please type them in the chat, okay? Because I am paying attention to the chat, and my wife is producing on TikTok for me, so she'll put up your question on the screen. In fact, I haven't made her a moderator, so we'll have to fix that. But I am looking at the chat down here as well, so I will pause everything to explain to you guys anything that you guys have a question of anywhere on any platform, especially you guys on TikTok, okay? So if you guys have questions about what we're doing, just say it in the chat. I'll look down, I'll answer your question, and we'll move on, okay? And I'll pause this is what I'm here for. I'm here to interpret, to help you guys understand exactly what and show you what this tablet is about and how this pertains to what's happening in the world and what's going on with you, me, and everybody else. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, let me know. Let's go. I'm going to continue here.
Drawing ye from out of the darkness of night. Know ye, O people amongst whom I walk, that I, Thoth, have all the knowledge and all of the wisdom known to man since the ancient days. Keeper have I been of the secrets of the great race, holder of the key that leads into life. Bringer up have I been to ye, O my children, even from the darkness of the ancient of days. Listen ye now to the words of my wisdom. Listen ye now to the message I bring. Hear ye now the words I give thee, and ye shall be raised from the darkness to light. Far in the past, when first I came to thee, found I thee in caves of rocks. Lifted I thee by my power and wisdom, until thou didst shine as men among men. Found I thee without any knowing, only a little were ye raised beyond beasts. Fanned I ever the spark of thy consciousness, until at last ye flamed as men. Now shall I speak to thee knowledge, ancient beyond the thought of thy race. Know ye that we of the great race had and have knowledge that is more than man's. Wisdom we gained from the star-born races, wisdom and knowledge far beyond man. Down to us had descended the masters of wisdom, as far beyond us as I am from thee. Listen ye now while I give ye wisdom. Use it, and free thou shalt be. Know ye that in the pyramid I built are the keys that...
I was playing with stuff and seeing if you guys wanted to join. I can pull Brooke. I can pull you up. You could be sitting on in the panel there. So I was playing with that, and inviting people, and they were like, "Oh, I'm on the camera!" And they were jumping off. So I apologize to those guys that I was doing that. Pulling up, I wanted to see if I could just jump you guys up in here. All right, let's continue here. I'm going to try and monitor both. I know you guys can't see the visuals, so you guys can only hear the audio on TikTok. So just hold on, and we'll go. And like I said, if you guys have any questions of what's happening, let me know in the chat down there, and I will answer those questions for you. All right, let's continue.
Shall show ye the way into life. I draw ye a line from the great image I built to the apex of the pyramid, built as a gateway. Draw ye another opposite in the same angle and direction. Dig ye and find that which I have hidden. There shall ye find the underground entrance to the secrets hidden before ye were men. Tell ye I now of the mystery of cycles that move in movements that are strange to the finite, for infinite are they beyond knowledge of man. Know ye that there are 9 of the cycles, 9 above and 14 below, moving in harmony to the place of joining that shall exist in the future of time. Know ye that the lords of the cycles are units of consciousness sent from the others to unify this with the all.
Okay, so if you're looking, if you guys are hearing, if you're just joining, we got the Emerald Tablets of Thoth playing in the background. So if you guys are just popping in on TikTok, that's what's going on there. Make sure you hit that. Make sure you slam that thing for me over there. Make sure you hit the heart for me over there, and continue slamming that heart over there. Thank you for that, baby. My wife is sharing that out in the other chats over there. Smash those hearts for me so that I can get those numbers up, so that TikTok can then do what they're supposed to be doing over there. It looks like it. What do I have? I have something muted there. So, that's my ringtones. Never mind. All right. So if you guys have questions, Penny, welcome over there on Facebook. So if you guys have any questions, please, type those in the chat over there, and we will stop. So Emerald Tablet 11, he literally saying, far in the past, for when I come to thee, found thee in a cave of rocks, lifted thee by my power and wisdom until thou didst shine as men among men. I found thee without any knowing, right? So literally, a lot farther than that, but I'm going back a little bit because he's talking about the starborn. Again, here's where we're, wisdom we gained from the starborn races, wisdom and knowledge far beyond man. So now we're talking about information that was brought to the earth from another place, and this is what Thoth is saying, or Thoth. It depends on where you are. Some people get annoyed when I say Thoth, and they say it's not pronounced Thoth. It's pronounced however you've heard it, depending on where you are in the world, which language you've learned it from. Some people say Thoth, some people say Thoth, some people say Thoth, some people say Thoth. So it just depends on what language you're familiar with when you call that. It's semantical things like potato, tomato, tomato. It's the same thing. All right, so let's continue. Again, I got to figure out where we are on the thing because I wasn't looking at it. So let me continue, and we can at least know where we're at here. I can know where we're at on the visual.
Highest are they of the consciousness of all cycles, working in harmony with the law. Know they that in time all will be perfected, having none above and none below, but all one in a perfected infinity, a harmony of all in the oneness of all.
Okay, so here we're talking about the laws of the universe, right? So let me back up a little bit now that I know where in the book that we are here, right? Places of joining that shall exist in the future of time. Know ye that the lords of the cycles are units of consciousness sent from the others to unify this with the all. Okay, so you're looking at expanding at this point from the 7 chakras to a larger number of chakras, and saying that there's more above than there are and that people think about. Okay, so you're expanding those, and the cycles and units are consciousness sent from others to unify this with the all or the one consciousness. of the universe. Peter, welcome, brother. I see Peter Coyle there from Ireland. My brother is in the. I was wondering if you were up, so I was throwing it at you because it's your evening. So I invited you to the live, brother. So we are live on TikTok. You guys can hear the stuff. Penny, welcome. Penny jumped on TikTok too. How you doing over there, Penny? Penny jumped on TikTok. Thank you for jumping on TikTok. She was on Facebook and she jumped on TikTok. She said that. I'm going over to TikTok. Thank you, Penny. So make sure you smash those heart buttons over there, people, so we can get up all the stuff that I need for TikTok to allow me to stay going live. I see you guys have done that over there, and you're still doing it. So I love you guys for that. Okay, so let me reread that again. You guys on TikTok can't see the visuals, but you guys can hear the audio when it plays. The rest of you in the world who are watching on an MP4 broadcast, you guys can see the visuals. But all of you around the world listening on the MP3 broadcast, you guys only hear it like the people on TikTok only hear it as well. Okay, so let's continue. So let me get this back up to where we were. Okay, so unifying this with the all. Highest are they of the consciousness of all cycles, working in harmony with the law. So now they're working with the law of the land, the law of one, the law of the creator. And these cycles that are conscious are actually, what they're saying is the rulers of the chakras. And so it's consciousness in the universe, but it's universal consciousness, like your chakras are in your body, is universal to you and everything that is an aspect of you. So these chakras are the overseeing energies of the universe that are uniting. So this we're talking about here. We're talking about aspects of the tree of life, of the universe. So you have an endocrine system in your body that is a tree of life, as within, so without, as below, so above. You have the electrical system inside your body that is the tree of life, and this is the trunk. This is an organ of the epidermis is an organ of the tree of life. Then you have your organs, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your throat, your heart, your lungs, your kidneys, all of that. Those are the 10 worlds that they talk about. Yggdrasil, the tree of life in the Viking pantheon, and their worlds. All of those worlds represent a different portion of us, as in below, as the above, or as in nature, and then as in individual. So we have 7 chakras, but he's saying 9. So he's saying 2 more, but then he's saying there's more above. Okay, this is an expansion of your consciousness into 4D, 5D thinking in this place where he's talking here to help expand you to your higher self and to back towards the creator. So lifting up your consciousness away from just 3D and expanding your consciousness into the idea that there is a lot more in the universe, and saying, but there are laws in the universe. So we know that if you guys have ever heard of the law of one, we know that people have been talking about that, not just humans. If you believe in aliens, talking about the law of one, saying that there are laws set down by the universe or by the Godhead, however you want to see that, as a male, female, androgynous, whatever it is that you see that Godhead, whatever the name is that you have in whatever spiritual practice that you have, that you call that Godhead. Has rules for the universe, so that we don't just get out of control. I guess we won't just do crazy things. All right, so let me get back to that. Highest are they, the consciousness of all the cycles, working in harmony with the law. Know they that in time all will be perfected, having none above and none below, but all one in the perfect unity, a harmony of all in the oneness of all. Okay, so again, returning back to source, and that eventually everyone is going to return back to the source. You're going to ascend in some way by learning, wisdom, time, and eventually you're going to return back to the source, whatever you call that. It doesn't matter what you call that source, whether it's God or goddess or dual aspect. It's an energy. It's the collective consciousness of the all that is the creator of the universe. So, people fight in the 3D over the name of that when we don't have to do that, right? Peter says, when you believe in the universe, always remember one word, scriptus, was descript writing of the era of you're talking about the eon, right? Of the era of the eon, right? Yeah, descriptus, like descriptus is here. So, okay, let's continue.
Deep neath the earth's surface, in the halls of Amenti, sit the seven, the lords of the cycles. I, and another, the Lord from below.
Okay, so, all right, so now we're talking about the seven chakras, okay? Deep beneath the earth's surface in the halls of Amenti, right? So the halls of Amenti, there is in the center. So when Thoth is talking about the center of the earth, he's using that vernacular because he's writing this information to give to people in on the earth plane in 3D, right? And so he's showing using the earth and the orb of the earth and the energy of the earth, the center of the earth, saying that the way to heaven is through the center. And he's showing the center of the earth because that's the largest chakra that would be known to the people at the time. It's easier than saying at that time saying the center of yourself to get to heaven, or the halls of Amenti, Elysium, whatever you know that as, Valhalla, whatever you know that as, depending on what it is that you have learned as your your spiritual way practice. Because depending on where you are in the world, you're going to have different names for that place. So deep beneath the earth surface in the halls of Amenti sit the seven, the lords of the cycles. The seven are the seven chakras that he's talking about. And the lords of the cycles are those archetypes that each one is. So if you look at the red ray root chakra, it is about here grounding, right? It's the root. That's what it's the beginning chakra. That is in our minds would be the lizard brain. And then you have the sacral plexus chakra, which is nature in this place, and all that is nature and the instinct of life and the instinct for survival and the like. And then you have the yellow ray. The yellow ray is this place, the third dimension. The sun is yellow ray for a reason. We're the third planet from that sun for a reason. It's the place of doing. It's the third dimension. The red ray is the first dimension. The orange ray is the second dimension. The yellow ray is the third dimension. This is the place of doing. Then we have the seven chakras going to the crown chakra. And he's saying that the lords of the cycle are these overseeing archetypes that are ruling those archetypes. And those archetypes, depending on whether you're in service to self or in service to others, you will expand and balance these chakras. And all of those, the upper three chakras are a spiritual archetype. The lower three chakras are the physical chakras, the archetype of the physical plane, third dimension, first, second, and third dimensional personage or personality. And if you live in a self-serving mindset, you'll be more in the lower three chakras, living in this plane, and that's all that you'll live and understand or understand. Okay, and then if you're living in the upper three chakras more, that's the astral, the spirit body, the more non-physical, being in service to others. And then you balance these chakras and the energies of those. That's called the Kundalini energy, or the Kundalini and the Kunda buffer. That's the two, because you have the two energies, like the Celtic knot. It's dual, it's two knots. And even if you look at the aspect of the older things there, right? The tablets, it's the Kundalini and the Kunda buffer. The Kunda buffer energy is the feminine energy, and the Kundalini is the masculine energy, right? Jared, thank you for supporting us. Right, that's my wife there on in the chat. So yeah, smash those hearts, guys, and share that out. And those of you that are sharing, I see that you're doing that. I love you guys for that. So we can get that going over there on TikTok. And I'm not in the studio today. Yesterday I was in the studio, but I told you guys I was going to be back doing the Emerald Tablets today. So I'm live all over the world on 4 platforms. And then I'll be on the MP3 platform for you guys to listen to. That'll be going out live to the world right after the show. I'll download that and put that out. Okay, let's continue. So literally the lords from below, the lords of the cycles, are the 7 chakras, the 7 lords of the cycles, and they are the Lord from below. And the Lord from below, when he was talking about the Lord of darkness, is the veiling. So the Lord of darkness is the veiling. Okay, the veiling that we have here. When you're in third dimension, you don't have a memory of everything that's going on in the universe. So because of that, you're veiled. And that's why you don't have that memory until you start to pierce that veil, and then the veil starts to lift. When the veil starts to lift, you're able to start seeing through it. That's why it's called a veil, because you can see through the holes and the gaps, and then eventually you start unlocking that, and then you can actually start really seeing what's going on in the world. So this is talking about those cycles. So let's continue, right? So the cycles, and I, and others, and other, the Lord from below, yet know thee that in infinite there are neither above nor below. Okay, so we'll get into that, because that's what we're getting into here. Okay.
Yet know thee that in infinity there is neither above nor below, but ever there is and ever shall be oneness of all.
Okay, so once you leave the physical plane and you merge into the fourth dimension, or it's still physical, but it's less physical than this, and you start moving into your astral body, your spirit body, then when you get up above that, where you go, now we're talking like the fifth dimension, sixth dimension, and above, you lose the physical body completely, and you're moved into your spirit body. You're more your energy now, your light. In that place, once you get past the halfway through the sixth dimension, there is no more light and darkness. There is no more evil. Evil does not continue back to source. Evil only goes to that place and it goes away, and then everybody has light body and there's order. And this is what he's talking about here. Okay, so know ye, yet know ye that in infinity there is neither above or nor below, because you are one at this point, right? But ever there is and ever shall be oneness of all when all is complete. Okay, so when you move into your astral body, your soul, your spirit body, and you get away from the physical, that starts here. You start to realize that, and you start moving into that. When you start to move into that, you then start the physical body starts to go away each time you move up in dimension. Right now we're in third dimension, and the physical body is very dense. The fourth dimension, it's not as dense. The fifth dimension, it's far less dense than it is now. Thank you, Jared. Thank you for that. And Jared's whacking me there, hitting me with those, right? Times 16 going, brother. Thank you for Jared. Thank you for doing that. I love you for that. Then you start moving into that physical body, or away from the physical body into the non-physical body. And that's the spirit body, the light body. And then eventually you'll return to source. And this is what he's talking about, right? Know ye that in infinity, when you're in that place, infinity, there is no time, and you're moving back towards the one. So all your oneness of the all, and when all is complete. Okay, so here, that's what Thoth's talking about, saying in the progression from third dimension, know that there is this entire space after this place that is outside of time, that is your spirit as you move closer back to the source of whatever it is that you see as that Godhead, right? So that you guys need to realize that, right? So let's continue.
All is complete. Oft have I stood before the lords of the all, oft at the fount of their wisdom have drunken, and filled both my body and soul with their light. Spoke they to me and told me of cycles, and the law that gives them the means to exist.
Pounding on that
I spoke to me the Lord of the Nine, saying, O Thoth, great are ye among earth children, but mysteries exist of which ye know not. Ye know that ye came from a space-time below this, and know ye shall travel to a space-time beyond. But little ye know of the mysteries within them, little ye know of the wisdom beyond. Know ye that ye, as a whole in this consciousness, are only a cell in the process of growth. The consciousness below thee is ever expanding in different ways from those known to thee. It, though in space-time below thee, is ever growing in ways that are different from those that were part of the ways of thine own.
Okay, so here you hear that Thoth is being told, once he has moved up into this place of spirit, you hear literally them telling him that you are now in a different place, right? For know that it grows as a result of thy growth, but not in the same way that thou didst grow. So saying now that you have come through that journey and got to this place that is much higher, and you're returning to give the information to those people, know that those people are growing differently than you are. That is something that the creator is the reason the creator created this. So I go through my path, and mine's individual. Each one of you out there in the world, you have your own individual path, even though we're on the same journey. Say right now we're all on the same earth. Right now we're all in different cultures. We're different DNA. We're different, different in many ways, but mostly the same, because we're all, say, Homo sapien sapien. We're all human, right? And we're all living on the same planet. We might be in different countries. We might be, in different cultures. We might have different religious or spiritual backgrounds, or none whatsoever. None of that. All of that is important. None of that is set in stone. All of that changes. Each generation also changes. Each person, your mom, your dad, or have a different idea. Your brother, your sister have a different take on the same thing that you have. So this is what the creator likes, the creator of the universe, whatever you call that, whatever you call them, whatever you call it, a he, she, they, doesn't matter. It's that the creator of the universe, whatever you call that, that creator likes this and encourages us to be individual, encourages us to do this. And Thoth is being taught this lesson at this point, saying what you went through and the way things were when you were there are now different, but the same. So when people say history repeats itself, it doesn't really repeat itself, but it echoes, because each one of us has a different take. If all of us in this chat around the world, or you guys listening to me all over the world, if we were all asked the exact same question about witnessing the exact same thing, say what Thoth was just saying to us, we're all going to have a different take on that. And it's okay, because we're all individuals. We see the world not the way it is. We see the world by how we are, and our experiences, personal experiences, are what give us the ability to decide what we are hearing and what that means. That's important, because our take is similar but different slightly from each other. That's why, like, if I tell you a story and you tell a friend the same story, you're going to tell it different than I told you, because you're saying it from your perspective. That's what the creator wants. And right here, Thoth is being taught that you're literally what you went through, people are still going through, but it's different, and know that and be aware of that. So Thoth is being taught, being taught to be aware of that. Be aware that what you're going through and what you're telling people, you can't say this is the way because it's my way, right? There is no way that's your way. There's a way that is the way of the universe, but even that changes because of the collective consciousness of all of us, you, me, and everybody in the entire world. We're the ones who make the collective consciousness. We're the ones who change whatever it is that's going on in the universe to be what it is. So we make this reality. And you hear people in history, not just Thoth telling you that and being taught this, but you hear that in Christianity, where Jesus said that. You hear that in Muhammad said that. You hear that in all religions, where they're literally saying that you, me, we have the power to be able to change things in our reality. We're the ones who do that. Okay, so that's an important thing. So you guys need to remember that. That's an important thing, and it's in something that is in all of the religions, all of the philosophical, spiritual texts throughout the entire world. There's a theme: you're free, you have free will, and you have a part in this place. It's not happening to you; it's happening for you. Okay, so let's continue.
For know that it grows as a result of thy growth, but not in the same way that thou didst grow. The growth that thou had and have in the present have brought into being a cause and effect. No consciousness follows the path of those before it, else all would be repetition and vain. Each consciousness in the cycle it exists in follows its own path to the ultimate goal. Each plays its part in the plan of the cosmos. Each plays its part in the ultimate end. The farther the cycle, the greater the knowledge and ability to blend the law of the whole. Know ye that ye in the cycles below us are working the minor parts of the law, while we of the cycle that stands to infinity take of the striving and build greater law.
Okay, so literally now he's being told, right, those that are in the cycle below us Okay, those that are in the cycles below us are learning this knowledge, and they're taking their part in that place, right? So know ye that ye in the cycles below us are working the minor parts of the law, while we of the cycles that extends to infinity take of the striving and build greater law. Okay, so when you're down here, right, here's that as above, so below, as below, so above. When you're down here in this place, you are responsible for, right, you are responsible for taking care of the minor parts of the law in this place. So that's the minor part, the lower three chakras is where we are in this place. So we're actually upholding those laws in this place. We just don't know about the laws that are past this place because we're not in that place of expansion of consciousness. Okay. And so because of that, we don't know what's going on above because we're veiled to that. And we're just now starting to wake up. You guys are just now starting to wake up and start to see. Some of you are in different stages of awareness, different stages of awakeness. So some of you are more awake than others, and you see things differently and you realize things. And some of you might be completely veiled and completely asleep, and you think I'm crazy. You guys probably aren't staying very long, and you're listening to me and you're running out of here because you think I'm nuts, because you're that's just where you are in your development on your path. So I sound crazy to you. Those of you out there who are listening to me who don't think that I am crazy, it's because you're going, wait a minute, I'm thinking some of this stuff, and this guy's starting to talk about it, right? So that's when you have to look at those things and realize, where am I in my development, and is it okay? Yes, it's okay. It's always okay to be wherever it is that you are. You don't have to be anywhere. You only have to keep moving forward. That's one of the things that I tell people. You don't have to walk any certain path. There is not a certain path. So don't listen to somebody who decides that they think they know exactly how you should be walking and where you should be. You should be on your own path, but you should continue moving forward. You should be continuing to strive to actually walk, because as long as you're moving and learning something and asking questions, then you're moving upward and you're changing. Your life is changing because you're looking into things and you're asking questions. Okay, you're expanding your mind. You're expanding your consciousness. Okay, let's continue.
Each has his own part to play in the cycles. Each has his work to complete in his way. The cycle below thee is yet not below thee, but only formed for a need that exists. For know ye that the fountain of wisdom that sends forth the cycles is eternally seeking new powers to gain.
Okay, so I want to reiterate that part that was just said, right? So this is important, right? He says, know ye know that knowledge is gained only by practice, and wisdom comes forth only from knowledge. And thus are the cycles created by law. Means are they for the gaining of knowledge, for the plane of law that is the source of all. The cycle below is not truly below. So the cycle below is not truly below, only different in space and time. Okay. So that's important when you're outside of this place. When you're in this place, that's also important. We are in the place of space and time. We have time here. When you move out of the physical body and you move fully into the non-physical body, the spiritual body, you will be outside of time. So time doesn't exist like it exists here. But they were being told, thank you, whoever gave me that heart just now. Thank you for that. But they were, Thoth is being told that you have to realize that, Fiona, thank you. Right. Yeah, we're on TikTok. So Brooke is over on Facebook talking to Fiona on Facebook. So Thoth is being told that even though you're in these higher planes, know that the people that are in the lower planes are not beneath you. Okay. They're equal. They're just in a different place. So the place is different, right? But it's only different because of the cycle. So let me read that again. Okay. So, and thus are the cycles created by law. Means that are they the gaining of knowledge and of the plane of law that is the source of all. The cycle below is not truly below, but only different in space-time. Okay, the cycle below is not only different, but only different in space-time. The consciousness there is working and testing lesser things than those ye are, and know, right? So that's where we are. Let's continue.
Ye know that knowledge is gained only by practice, and wisdom comes forth only from knowledge, and thus are the cycles created by law. Means are they for the gaining of knowledge, for the plane of law that is the source of the all. The cycle below is not truly below, but only different in space and time. The consciousness there is working and testing lesser things than those ye are. And know, just as ye are working on greater, so above ye are those who are also working, as ye are on yet other laws. The difference that exists between the cycles is only inability to work with the law. We who have being in cycles beyond thee are those who first came forth from the space, and have in the passage through time-space gained ability to use laws of the greater that are far beyond the conception of man.
Okay, so literally the only difference is your vibration, and two, your focus. So you're down here because this is where your focus is, this is where you are, you're in the third dimension, right? So that's not beneath the other dimensions. That is just in a different place. So everyone is equal. It's just a matter of where you are in your development back towards the creator. So no one's better than you because they're higher vibration than you. Okay. No one's better than you if you're not better than anyone who is below you in vibration or below you in dimension. You have different laws when you move from dimension to dimension. So as you move back towards the creator, you move away from your physical body and into the spirit body. There are different laws that govern those places that are outside of time. And then when you get back to to your heaven, whatever you call that, Elysium heaven, Valhalla, whatever that is, the halls of Amenti, whatever that is, the great mansion, the great halls, the Akashic record, when you get to that place, there's different laws. Okay. So there's different laws, and things just work out that way, right? That is the way that it was done by the creator. So nobody is better than anybody. Nobody is above anybody. Nobody is beneath anybody. Everybody is equal, no matter where it is that you are, okay, in your development. So when you look at people, you shouldn't judge them. There's that. Let's go back to, the different Talmuds, the different Bibles where you hear, judge not lest ye be judged, right? Do unto others, those things that you hear that are in the Hebrew Bible. I guess that's in the Hebrew Bible. It's also in the Christian Bible. It would also be in the Muslim Bible, because those are all based on the same Moses Talmud that God gave Moses, right? So depending on what religion that you apply to, know that if you guys haven't read my bio, I am a theologian, and I have 4 different religious titles and 4 different religions. So I'm not trying to preach to you a religion. I'm not here for that. I am here to give you the interpretation of these religions that all of your ascended masters that are here on this earth in all of time were also trying to do. They were trying to show you that the way to heaven is a way. It is a way of life. It is not a religion. So I know I'm going to offend some people who are religious and believe that their religion is the best one, because people always, whatever religion people learn, they say my religion's right and no one else's religion is right, and they get kind of a 3D about it, right? All religions are semantical in their nature of what you can and can't do. How you can say God's name if you can, whether you can say draw a picture of God or not, or whether you can cut your hair or not, or whether you can eat pork or not, or whether you can get a tattoo or not, or whether, you know what I mean? Those things are personal to individuals. So if you agree with some of those, join that religion. There's nothing wrong with that. Find the place that fits for you. If you don't agree with those things, it doesn't mean that you can't be spiritual, right? If you guys look at my book, which you guys can't see on the camera for TikTok because it's behind me over here on the dresser, but the other people on the other platforms can see my book. My book is the reality about reality, returning to the old ways, and I talk about that, and I tell you in that book about the people who have corrupted, and they have taken the knowledge and they've tried to rearrange the knowledge so that they're taking away from you the knowledge of how to ascend, how to get back to God, how to find your way to heaven. That knowledge is still there in all those books. They're not wrong. Those religious texts are not wrong. It's just that the way that the churches from the top are allowing the clergy to teach you is they're keeping some of that information away from you, so that you don't know and you don't figure out everything. They're staying mostly focused on come and sit in our seats and pay us a tithing. That's kind of what they're doing. They're not all doing that, because most of your clergy are very good people in every religion. They're trying to help you, but they're in a curriculum that in public they have to say, they can't say some things that they can tell you when you're talking to them one-on-one. So when you talk to these clergy one-on-one behind closed doors, you'll find they'll be a little bit more open and they'll be a little bit more spiritual when they talk to you. But in my book, that's why I quoted in there, religion recruits you, spirituality waits for you to find it. Speaking of that, I'm going to go ahead and do a commercial from my book, because it is time to pay the bills. Those of you who are all watching on TikTok, you'll be able to hear the commercial for my book, but you won't be able to see the visuals, because those are only on the other platforms that I'm live on. So I apologize for that. Once I start going live on the TikTok studio, in the studio on my computer, like I'm doing right now on the StreamYard on the other platforms, I'll be able to show you guys the videos. So I'll probably do a separate show where I'm not doing all the other platforms for you guys on TikTok, and then I'll have the videos for you so you guys can see this. So I'm going to go ahead and do a commercial for my book, but you guys can hear the audio. And you listen to it, you just can't see the visuals, all right?
What is the reality about reality? Returning to the old ways. It is a comprehensive book about what is really going on here on this planet. It talks about the true spirituality that the controllers who think they own this planet have been keeping from you for thousands of years. It explains to you the knowledge that you gain from the universe itself when you live the way the prophets of the world throughout time told us how to live. Eat right, meditate, take care of yourself, treat others right. All the things they originally told us to do, but the controllers have removed from right in front of our eyes. The way to ascend to heaven. The reality about reality. Returning to the old ways. On sale worldwide, online now.
All right, so you guys can find my book online anywhere. It's on sale worldwide. You heard that on the commercial. Just Google whatever search engine you use, the reality about reality, returning to the old ways, or Google my name and my book, Leonard O'Neill. I don't think I have a link in my TikTok account to my book, but on all my other platforms, there's a link to my book that you guys can see. Okay, so I discussed that, and what I'm talking about now, that as a theologian, I'm seeing when I've studied all of these religious texts from around the world, from all these religions. I've been literally doing this since I was like 8 years old. So that's 50 years, 50 years I have been doing this. And this is not a joke. I have been studying this stuff, and I'm realizing what most other theologians are realizing around the world, but they don't talk about because they don't get paid to do that. They start comparing a religion against a religion. Or they go, well, look, it looks like this religion borrowed this text from this other religion, and we have to find out who has that scroll. They're staying away from the message because they're not being paid to tell you the message. All of the people that are these prophets from whatever spiritual practice that you're aware of, that you have learned, every single one of those people, Lao Tzu from the Tao, right? The Buddha from Buddhism, right? Jesus from Christianity, Muhammad from the Muslim religion, Shiva, Ganesh from the Hindu religion, Thor, Odin from that Viking religion. Those people and the stories that they were telling you and the message they were bringing you is actually identical. Not 100%, because the dynamic changes slightly about time and because of the culture and name, of course, of the deity, right? So if you look at the Mesopotamian scroll, if you've ever heard of the Enuma Elish, you have Tiamat, the dragon, who has to be defeated, right? Then Thor had to defeat the dragon of the North Sea. Jesus had to defeat the serpent in the garden, another dragon, another lizard, another serpent. Okay, so you have these, and then you have Moses, who has to defeat Ramses II, who is a serpent, who is like the devil, who is evil. So everybody has their strife. Everybody has to defeat this great evil that is most of the time described as a serpent, right? Or a snake or a lizard or a dragon of some kind. Then you have, different cultures that do the same, that talk about that. You have to, that is the struggle that is, that you have to defeat your own ego. You have to defeat the evil within you to be able to then find your way back to heaven. And all of these people were telling you about the way, the Tao Te Chi, the Tao for Taoism means the way, right? So all of these spiritual practices were actually told to be a way of life, a way of ascending to heaven. And they became a religion. And then people got a hold of them and added a bunch of laws, right? Like Moses was given 10 commandments, 10 laws from God. And then he gave those to the Israelis, the Israelites, the Hebrews. And then now they've turned them into like 6,000 laws. God didn't say all those laws, but I'm not saying the laws are wrong, but those are semantical. Some of them are just laws that are cultural, right? They're cultural. So if you're okay with those, it's okay. I'm not saying you should go against that stuff. But what I'm saying is the message of all of these religions is the same message. It's all the same God. It's just of everybody's going to war over who the messenger is. People in the Christians and the Muslims are fighting over whether Muhammad is God's messenger or Jesus. They're both God's messenger. There's room for that. There's room for them because they're both saying the same thing. So just because Jesus said this message about God and the way to get there, and then Muhammad is talking about God and the way to get there, why do they have to be at odds? Why do they have to be at odds? There's no reason for them to be at odds. They're telling the same story. Because if you see what those two are telling, it's the same story that Lao Tzu was telling for the Tao, the way to ascend to heaven. It's the same message that the Buddha was telling you about the way to get back to heaven. There is no difference. It's the same way. It's just a matter of how you want to apply that way or how you want to follow that way. So if you look at those things, Kale, welcome. I didn't realize Kale popped in. How you doing, brother? Welcome. So you have to realize that is just the way. If that way fits for you, go down that path and be that and do that. And it's okay if you like that. When I was a boy, I asked my father, are we Christian? And he said, don't follow those things because your father might have been Christian or your grandmother. If you think that you want to find a way, look at that and go and read their book, ask questions, go to their church, their synagogue, read their Bible, read their Talmud, and see if it fits for you. But don't just grab the first one and be it. Try to look around to see if you don't like this one or you do like that one and find your way. So I was like 8 years old when he said that to me. And I decided that was something that I was going to do and take a look at everything. I've spent my entire life looking at all of the religions and all of the thing. And the one thing that I have found is that the message is the same. It's just a matter of what they're giving you as far as rules that you can and can't do in that message. But the underlying message is always the same. That meat of what they're trying to teach you is the same. It's just a matter of what laws that you agree to or like or are okay with in the message. But if you only focus on the laws, then you're not focusing on the message. You're not focusing on the way. That's the problem, is that a lot of religions are no longer teaching the way. They're teaching their laws. Okay, do you see? So if you see that, if you're looking at churches and you're going there and you're thinking, I don't like these churches, they don't seem to be right. I like them, but they seem to be not doing things right, or there's something missing. That's because instinctively you're seeing or noticing or feeling that they're missing the way. There's nothing wrong with that. It's there, but their curriculum might not be allowing the clergy to show it to you out in public, right? Or you could be missing what they're saying. So you have to look at that and decide, if you don't like a one spiritual way, go to another. There's nothing in the world. Some of these religions will tell you, if you're not our religion, you're going to die. All of them say that. All of them say we're the right religion and no one else is. And if you're not our religion, you're going to die. So they all can't be right. Okay. So they all can't be right. And they're all saying you have to come to our religion because our religion is the real religion, because we're the oldest religion and the only religion, and you're going to die if you go to the other religion. Well, the other religion's actually teaching the same way. They just have different rules for that same way. So the way is the underlining thing. When you're in school and you're learning mathematics, what do they teach you? What is the common denominator? The common denominator of all spiritual practice is the way, not the laws, but the way. So if the laws fit for you, go to one of those places. If those laws fit for you, if they don't fit for you, you're not going to die and not make it to heaven because you didn't go by the laws of a certain religion. They're just going to not like you and tell you. And if anybody threatens to kill you because you don't follow their way, you got to ask yourself if that's the right way. If you have to tell people I'm going to murder you if you don't do what I tell you to do, then you got to wonder if what they're telling you to do is not right. Okay. And all religions at one time. So you can't point at one religion and go, well, those guys are doing that, because every religion did it. So you have to look at those religions and go, what part of that made them try to say, I need to kill you if you don't listen to me. Okay. You need to look at all of that and say, am I okay with that? Oh, have they changed? Were they run by evil people in the past? It's very possible, right? So are they still trying to kill you if you don't agree with them? If they're still trying to kill you and tell you you have to die if you don't agree with them, you're either for us or against us. That's very third dimensional thinking. And that's not the way, because all of the way of all spiritual ways that these prophets were telling you had nothing to do with murdering people and killing people. It was about love. It was about understanding. It was about peace, and it was about finding your way back to God. I'm just saying. All right, so let's continue. So the knowledge, let me get back to the emerald tablets, right? Compare ye the cycles to men, or to man, and his journey from birth unto death, and see in the cycles below thee the child with the knowledge he has. Okay.
Nothing there is that is really below thee, but only a different operation of law. Look thee above, or look thee below.
Okay. So I literally just said that, right? Only a difference in the operation of law. Okay. So look thee above and look thee below. All right. So literally I just said that. Okay. So remember that laws are set by humans in third dimension, not by God. God sets laws, but it doesn't say you die if you don't do it. It'll say you can't come into heaven, but it doesn't say I'm going to have to kill you if you don't do it. Okay. So you need to look at that, guys, and say, okay, and thank you by the way, for everybody who's giving me roses and giving me hearts and that kind of stuff. Keep smashing those hearts and get that number up so that they don't, TikTok doesn't go, what is going on? Those guys can't come there. So keep smashing those lights, all you champions out there. And so literally, let me go back to what is being said, right? See ye, we also, the child grown to man. I think I'm ahead there, aren't I? Or am I behind? Let me see where I am here. The difference in the stages of growth. So also, Thoth, yeah, see, I'm ahead right there. So let me go back to where we are, right? So look thee above or look thee below. The same ye shall find, for all is but part of the oneness that is of the source and the law. I think we already covered that, right? So compare ye to the cycle of man with his journey from birth to death. I don't even think we've gotten to that. I think I'm either right at the bottom or that, but he was talking about the laws. The laws are only different when you're below or when you're above. It's only a difference in laws. So the laws that cover the spiritual are a little bit different than laws that cover the physical. But in spiritual practices, the only difference in spiritual practices in these religions are the laws of the religions. The way is the same. Okay. So I love you guys. Remember to smash those likes. Follow me on TikTok. Go to, and make sure you follow me. Make sure you get that notification so that when I'm live, you get a notification that I'm live. I love you guys. Right. Make sure you hit the hearts. Make sure you hit the likes. Thank you for that. Right. So let's continue with the Emerald Tablet number 11, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth.
The same shall ye find, for all is but part of the oneness that is at the source of the law. The consciousness below thee is part of thine own, as we are a part of thine. Ye, as a child, had not the knowledge that came to ye when ye became a man. Compare ye the cycles to man in his journey from birth unto death, and see in the cycle below thee the child with the knowledge he has. And see ye yourself as the child grown older, advancing in knowledge as time passes on. See ye, we also the child grown to manhood, with the knowledge and wisdom that came with the years. So also, O Thoth, are the cycles of consciousness, children in different stages of growth, yet all from the one source, the wisdom, and all to the wisdom returning again. Ceased then he from speaking, and sat in the silence that comes to the Lord's. Then again spake he unto me, saying, O Thoth, long have we sat in Amenti, guarding the flame of life in the halls. Yet know we are still part of our cycles, with our vision reaching unto them and beyond. Aye, know we that of all nothing else matters, excepting the growth we can gain with our soul. Know we the flesh is fleeting. The things men count great are nothing to us. The things we seek are not of the body, but are only the perfected state of the soul. When ye as men can learn that nothing but progress of soul can count in the end, then truly ye are free from all bondage, free to work in a harmony of law. Know, O man, ye should aim at perfection, for only thus can ye attain to the goal. Though ye should know that nothing is perfect, yet it should be thy aim and thy goal. See.
Okay, so nothing is perfect, but perfection is one of the things that you should try to achieve. Why? Because the creator of the universe is perfect. So you're trying to reestablish and become one with the creator. So know that none of us are perfect, right? Realize that I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Anybody who thinks they're perfect is lying to themselves, okay? Nobody is perfect, only the creator. But I don't even believe that the creator is perfect, right? Some people would say that's blasphemy. If the creator was perfect and the creator knew everything, the creator wouldn't be having this scenario of us learning and allowing us to learn and having the need for us to learn, because we would be perfect, because we would be part of the creator, and that would be perfection. So the fact that we're not perfect, the creator, even the creator of the universe, says, I don't believe that I'm perfect. I believe that I still need to, and I want to grow. So the creator is trying to grow. The creator is trying to have new experiences. And the creator is making these experiences in the universe or universes, or whatever you want to look at. Or even if you only believe that humans are the only thing that is in the entire universe, and that we're the only conscious things in the entire universe, then God still created us for a purpose. What was the purpose? Was it for entertainment purposes, or was it because God was bored, or was it because God was trying to learn more itself? Do you see? So God could, if God knows everything, this would be very boring, right? If you know the end of a movie before you start watching the movie, and you see the same movie 100 times, you're not going to want to watch it again, are we? Right? If I'm sitting here and I'm telling you the same story, and I've told you this story 100,000 times, or I'm reading you the same story that you already know, when you're looking at the same movie, and you're going, oh man, this movie again, we've already seen this movie like 100 times. Why are we having to watch this movie again? You're not going to want to see the movie again, because you already know it. You know it word for word. You know every bit of it. You know, oh, here it comes. The guy's not going to notice, and the bad guy's going to jump out from behind that. There he goes. Okay. You're going to be bored with that. So you have to have something different. Okay. So the creator creating, say, just the human race, even if you only believe that humans are the only race in the entire universe, let's just pretend that. Every scenario that's happening with every single one of us is individual. Even though we're all going through the same journey, we all have our own individual journey. Okay. So the creator created that. Even if he was bored, he, she, it, they is bored, the creator created that so the creator could watch. So the creator is trying to see something different or trying to learn. Otherwise, the creator wouldn't be doing it. Or the creator is bored and we're just the ants. We're an ant farm. Some people say that. We're just an ant farm to God. I don't believe that. But even if we are, we're entertaining the Lord. We're teaching the Lord something. We're teaching God. We're teaching the creator of the universe. Because the creator of the universe is living vicariously through us, because the creator is bored for whatever reason, because the creator knows everything. The creator is everything. Well, if that's the case, then the creator knows what you're going to do. So that would be boring. After a minute, the creator would go, I know what this one's going to do. Look, there's going to be the bad guy behind the container. And yep, there it is. Okay. So the creator wouldn't want to watch us anymore. So the fact that this is happening and we're allowed to have free will, we're allowed to do whatever we want. We can do anything that we want. You can do anything you want within the bounds of laws. Okay. You can break the laws if you want. You can murder, you can rape, you can pillage, you can do whatever you want. Or you could be good and you could be nice and you can teach people and you can love people. You can do all of those things. You can be in service to self and do anything you want there, or you could be in service to others and do anything you want there. Okay? This is what's being told, even in the Emerald Tablets. So some people say the Emerald Tablets of Thoth were invented. If they were invented in 1929, whoever invented them was a very, very, very smart person. Because it takes a very, very intelligent mind to craft this kind of stuff. Well, maybe they just borrowed it from all the Talmud. Okay, where did they all come from? So if I sat down and I created, say, the Emerald Tablets, I had to get all of that information from somewhere. Maybe they used AI. There was no AI until yesterday. Okay, there was no AI until yesterday, yet there is this kind of stuff. I'm pointing at my computer screen, pointing at the monitor where I can see the words that are on the screen that you guys are listening to. Those tablets, those Talmuds, those Bibles, whoever wrote those were the most intelligent people on the earth. Because they were, even if they say borrowed, everyone says they borrowed everything from everybody. Let's say they did that. Whoever they borrowed that stuff from wrote it. Somebody wrote those. So whoever it was that wrote all those, say, let's trace it all the way back. And that's what they're trying to do to keep you away from the message. They're trying to get you to chase the scroll and find out who the first one was. And then when you find the first one, they go, well, that's the oldest one. And it might've been somebody else. We got to keep looking because they don't want you to read the message. Okay. So let's say you run down that road and you say, well, Christianity is borrowed from 3 religions and the Hebrew religion is borrowed from 7 religions. So that means the Muslim religion has to be borrowed from 10 or 11 religions. Right. And then in this religion's borrowed from that religion and that religion's borrowed from this religion. And then you start arguing over and fighting and killing each other over who the oldest one is. Because then everybody wants the credit for having the oldest one. Well, the oldest one came from here or came from our country or came from that country. Now you have wars over who's going to have the oldest scroll. Okay. So you have that kind of stuff happening. That is a distraction to keep you from the actual looking at the actual message. Okay. That's the distraction away from the message. So what is the message? So it doesn't matter. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter if all of them were created, because everyone says that Jesus was created by the Romans to keep the Jews in line, to give them something. Weirdly, because it didn't convert the Jews, it converted the Romans. Okay, so they really fucked up. Pardon my language. They really messed up. Because if the Romans created Jesus and he never existed and they created him just to control the Jewish people, it only converted not even a quarter of the Jewish people, but it converted the entire Roman Empire. Think about that now. By the year 300, Constantine made Christianity the religion of the Roman people. So 300 years after Jesus died, the control mechanism that the Hebrews claim was designed to control the Jews. The Jewish people stayed Jewish, and only about, not even a quarter of them, probably an eighth of them became Christian. And then they converted the rest of the world, and the entire Roman Empire 300 years later became Christian. And now there's whatever it is, 2 or 3 billion people on the earth claim to be Christian. So it didn't work. What it did do is exactly what Jesus said that it was going to do. It expanded out and started, having other people understand the way. Do you see? And what is the way? It's the same way that Lao Tzu was teaching in the Tao, the way, the Tao Te Ching, the book of the way. Okay. It's the same way the Buddha was teaching. It's the same way that Muhammad was teaching. It's the same way that Elijah was teaching. It's the same way that Thor and Odin are teaching. It's the same way that Shiva and Ganesh are teaching. The way is the same. Okay. So the laws are different, but the way is the same. So remember that. Okay. So let's get back over here and let me read where we are over here. Right. So it is a lot higher up than I thought. Right. So when ye as men can learn that nothing but progress of soul can count in the end, nothing but progress. So you moving and making progress is what counts, not what you learn, but your progress. Okay. Your progress of you moving forward is what counts. So do you remember, if you guys saw the Pirates of the Caribbean in one of the movies, the guy who had only one eye and had the wooden eye, and he was looking at the Bible, and the other pirate looked at him and said, "You can't read." and he was looking at the Bible. What are you doing? You can't even read. And he said, you get credit for trying. And he pointed up to God. You get credit for trying. In a very real sense, that actually does count, because he was moving forward and he was trying to become a better person. Even though he was a pirate, he was trying to stay spiritual and trying to stay on a track of loving and liking God. Okay. So what he was saying was, you get credit for trying, but you do get credit for trying. And here you see that Thoth is saying that things that we seek are not of the body, but are only the perfect state of the soul. When ye as men can learn that nothing but progress can be counted in the end, then truly you are free from all of the bondage, free to work in harmony of the law, not with the law, but of the law. O man, ye shall aim at perfection, for only thus can ye attain to the goal. So you're trying to achieve perfection. You're trying to achieve going back to the creator and to the source, right? So cease again the voice of the nine, right? Ceased again the voice of the nine, and to my consciousness the words had sunk. Now seek I ever more wisdom, that I may be perfect in the law with the all. Okay, let's continue here.
Ceased again the voice of the nine, and into my consciousness the words had sunk. Now seek I ever more wisdom, that I may be perfect in law with the all. Soon go I down to the halls of Amenti, to live beneath the cold flower of life. Ye whom I have taught shall never more see me, yet live I forever in the wisdom I taught. All that man is because of his wisdom. All that he shall be is the result of his cause. List ye now to my voice, and become greater than common man. Lift thine eyes upward, let light fill thy being. Be thou ever children of light. Only by effort shall ye grow upward, O the plane where light is the all of the all. Be ye the master of all that surrounds thee. Never be mastered by the effect.
Oh, and then everything throws just a commercial.
This
YouTube.
game.
Sorry about that. Hold on, guys.
You're not ready.
Okay.
Of thy
Sorry
life.
about that.
Create then
Popped over
ever
on-
more perfect causes,
on
and in
YouTube.
time shalt thou be a son of the light. Free, let thine soul soar ever upward, free from the.
Sorry about that. I forget that the video that I'm using, that you guys are listening to, is not mine, and the people who own it have it monetized. And that was actually pretty good that it didn't go to a commercial until just then. So I apologize. I'm like, whoa, what just happened? It went to a commercial, and I had to skip the commercial. Okay, so let's continue. So I apologize for that. For you on over there on TikTok, you guys there would have been like a stopping of the sound there for a second, right? Surround thee, never be mastered by the effect of thy life. Create then ever more perfect causes, and in time shalt thou be a son of the light, free. Okay. So now this is saying the son of the light being literally the light of God. But a lot of people said, oh, they were talking about the sun right here, the sun, Saul. They were using that as a vernacular, using that as an example, as a parable. The sun is the light giver. So Saul, the star that we have, gives life to us, keeps us alive. Without that sun, we would not exist. We would die. We'd freeze to death. No food would grow. We wouldn't be able to eat. We would be the temperature would be 380 degrees below zero or more. It's really cold up in the plane. When I was flying from the United States to Australia, and I was looking at the chart when they were showing the plane, I didn't realize how cold it was up in the air. I was cold inside the plane, and they had the heater blasting, and everybody was wearing blankets. And I was glad that I was told bring a jacket and a blanket. And I was sitting there. I looked at the temperature, and it was like 400 degrees below zero or more. It was insanely cold up there in the sky. I was unaware of that. I've never flown on a passenger plane before. I always thought that military planes were just cold. I didn't realize that it was cold outside. And then you're traveling at it like, 50,000 miles an hour or whatever it is that they travel at. So you're going through the cold. The wind chill is insane, right? I was unaware of that. Okay, so I love you guys. Hold on a second here. Let's finish this. We're about to finish tablet 11. I think we're about to start tablet 12. So let's go ahead and finish this, and we'll get on to tablet 12. Okay.
The bondage and fetters of night. Lift thine eyes to the sun in the sky space. For thee, let it be a symbol of life. Know that thou art the greater light, perfect in thine own sphere, when thou art free. Look not ever into the blackness. Lift up thine eyes to the space above. Free, let thine light flame upward, and shalt thou be a child of light.
Okay, so that's the end of the Emerald Tablet, Tablet 11, the Emerald Tablet of Thoth. So we're going to go into 12. Thank you guys for sharing this out. Those of you who are here and that have popped in on TikTok, we are covering the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. That's what you're hearing in the background. You guys can't see the visuals because I'm broadcasting on 3 other platforms, and the visuals are only popping up for those on the MP4 files, not on TikTok. So I'm going to try and figure that out because I can't be on TikTok in a studio at the same time as being on every other channel in the studio. So I'm going live on my phone right here for those of you who are seeing me, and I'm live here in the studio on other platforms and the MP4, and they can see the visuals of the words scrolling on the screen that you guys are only hearing. And those of you listening on the MP3 file around the world, you guys can't see any visuals anyways. You're just hearing the audio. So you guys are used to that already. But however, if you guys have questions about spirituality, about religion, about the Emerald Tablets, please type them in the chat. I am Fiona. I see you over there on Facebook. And Fiona says, I don't have TikTok. I only have Facebook. That's okay. I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. All of those chats are filtering in. I'm on Instagram. I have those chats open. And then I'm on TikTok. And I'm out to the world on the MP3 of audio only around wherever. I know that it goes out to 70 countries. Okay. So you guys are used to listening to me anyways, right? So Peter jumped back over on Facebook over there. I love you, brother. He's jumping back from Facebook to TikTok, and my wife's doing the same thing. And it looks like Penny did the same thing. Right. Okay. So let's start with the Emerald Tablet number 12. This is almost the last one. No, we still have 15 tablets total. Emerald Tablet 12 has an arc here at the 22 hour and 21 minutes. So in 3 minutes, there's an arc that is one of the second most played moments on all of these tablets. I track that on the computer, by the way. This one is so something coming up in 3 minutes is knowledge that whoever plays this video by this person replays a lot, and I'm not sure what it is, so we'll see when it gets there. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue with the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, tablet number 12.
Tablet 12, the law of cause and effect, and the key of prophecy. Listen ye, O man, to the words of my wisdom. Listen to the voice of Thoth the Atlantean. Conquered have I the law of time-space. Knowledge have I gained of the future of time. Know I that man in his movement through space-time shall ever be one with the all. Know ye, O man, that all of the future is an open book to him who can read. All effect shall bring forth its causes, as all effects grew from the first cause. Know ye, the future is not fixed or stable, but varies as cause brings forth an effect.
Okay, so literally, so this is the law of cause and effect. Okay, so the key of prophecy, list ye, O man, listen, right? You human, O man, he was saying, right? Listen to my words, to the words of my wisdom. Listen to the voice of Thoth, right? The Atlantean. Conquered have I the law of space-time. So he has already moved out of the physical plane by the time he's bringing this knowledge back to the earth. Okay, so he has already moved. He was here in the physical plane at one point. That's why he was claiming that he was an Atlantean. Okay, Thoth, the Atlantean, was here in Atlantis and then ascended beyond the third dimension. Ascended beyond the third dimension, up beyond that even, and eventually was in the halls of Amente, heaven, Elysium, Valhalla, whatever you call that place, paradise, whatever you call that place, Eden, whatever it is in the religion or the spiritual practice that you know from your background, whatever that is. Okay, the halls of Amenti, the Akashic records, the Great Hall, the Great Library, whatever you call that. Okay, went there and then was chosen to then return and give knowledge to the earth. So according to the ancient Egyptians and the ancient Greeks, there was a time when Thoth the Atlantean came back and gave this information to the world, and that information was hidden for a while and lost until 1929, when they claimed they found it, the tablets buried in the ground at the feet, underneath the feet of the statue of Hermes Trismegistus. Okay, because some people at that time, from the ancient Egyptian and the ancient Greek, believed that Hermes, when you listen in history, some people say that Hermes was Greek, others say he was Egyptian. So there's depending on who you listen to, they both claim that a man named Hermes Trismegistus, 3 times great, came and was in their population teaching basically almost the same thing. Now, if you follow me on my podcast, those of you on TikTok, you probably don't know me because you guys haven't been on the other platforms, unless you have, and you do know that. I have been talking about that before we're doing the Emerald Tablets. We did Hermes and the Corpus Hermeticum, which was the collection of Hermes talking to God and teaching his son about the ways of God, okay, and the things that he learned by talking to God. So a lot of people from way back then, thousands of years ago, when Hermes was here, believed that Hermes, the spirit, the soul that was in the body of Hermes, was in fact Thoth the Atlantean. A lot of people believe that. We don't know the answer to that question. We just know that he seemed to be teaching the same thing, didn't claim he was Thoth, but was teaching the same message, and had a copy, they think, of the Emerald Tablets. They don't know, but they do know that in 1929, they found buried beneath the feet of the statue of Hermes, the Atlantean tablets. So that gave rise to the idea that it's possible that Hermes was Thoth the Atlantean, or at least was studying Thoth, the Emerald Tablets. So then some people say the Emerald Tablets aren't real, but that somebody just invented them. But again, I say, as a theologian, as someone who is studying philosophical and religious texts my entire life, whoever invented this must have had access to it must have been a theologian, someone who had access to all of the messages from all of the spiritual ways that were being taught on this earth and still are, that have then been turned into religions, because the message is still the same. So if they say that Thoth the Atlantean isn't real and the message from Thoth isn't real, that means that the message that is in every single religious text on the earth is also not real. Okay? So if a religion says our text is the right text and we're real, the message that is being taught in there is the same message that's being taught in other religion. So one religion cannot say another religion isn't true. The only thing they can say about another religion is those laws that they have are not our laws, because the way that they're teaching is identical, unless they've taken and edited that stuff out, which some religions tried to do, to edit that information out. So they don't want you to know this information. They don't want you to know that you are in charge, that you are in charge of you, that you have free will, that you are on a journey back to the source, that you are in a school here that is third dimension, that you're trying to graduate from by realizing that you have an immortal soul and that you are an immortal soul. Not just that you have a soul, not that you have a light body, that you are the light body, and that this is the dream, that this is not reality. What you think is reality is actually an illusion. They don't want you to know any of that. They don't even want you to think that. They want you to think I'm crazy. Okay. So let's continue. The Emerald Tablet 12, the law of cause and effect. Okay. So list ye old man to the words of my wisdom, list to the voice of Thoth the Atlantean, conquer have I. And I'm not trying to sell you on the religion of Thoth. You guys realize that when you pop in here, if you don't know who I am. I am a minister of 4 different religions. I am a theologian. I am comparing and showing you the way in all of these different philosophical and spiritual practices or spiritual texts. Okay. So I'm not trying to sell you some Egyptian religion or some Greek religion, or trying to convert you away from whatever spiritual practice you have. I'm trying to show you that all of these spiritual practices have the same underlining message, the same common denominator. The only differences in all of religions around the world are the ways in which the laws are. Whatever that feels good for you, you go and run with that. It's okay. I'm not trying to take you away from that. I'm trying to show you that and help you expand your consciousness that the truth is the way Jesus was teaching, the way Muhammad was teaching, the way Ganesh was teaching, Shiva, the way Thor was teaching, the way Lao Tzu was teaching, the way the Buddha was teaching is the way that Mahatma Gandhi was teaching is the way. It is the one underlining thing of all religions on this earth. The differences in all of them are semantical. The differences in all of them are just the laws and how you do that. What you call the God, the creator of the universe, the name of the place that person is in, and the way in which you get there is the same. So the way and the creator of the universe is the same with just a different name or no name, okay, or a name that can't be spoken. But what you're here doing, underlining common denominator, what you are here doing, what you are here to learn, what you are here to remember and do, and the way you're supposed to get there is the same, except for the laws that other humans set down in different countries, different cultures. None of them are wrong. None of them are right. All of them are the same, except for the laws. You just have to realize that. Okay, so if you're a religious zealot, you're going to hate me right now, whatever religion you are. If you're Roman Catholic, oh, you're going to hate me. If you're a Muslim and you're a zealot, oh, you're going to hate me. If you're a Hebrew and you're a zealot, you're going to hate me. Okay, if you're a Buddhist and you're a zealot, you're going to hate me right now. Okay, it's the same as if you're into politics around the world, you're going to hate me because you're going to think I'm your enemy because you think that I'm opposing your point of view. I'm not trying to do that in any way. I'm trying to show you that even if you think your religion is the number one religion, the truth of your religion is that the way that was being taught by your prophet is the same way that all prophets are teaching. The difference is humans got a hold of that, made a religion out of it, and then started adding their laws to it. Okay, if those laws apply to you and you're okay with it, go with your God. Namaste. Okay, if you're one of those people who are going, I don't like the laws of all of the religions and I don't understand them and that doesn't feel right to me, so I don't want to have anything to do with religion. Religion recruits you. Spirituality waits for you to find it. Okay, it's okay to be spiritual, and all of those prophets were telling you that. It's okay to be spiritual. You don't have to be religious. The religions didn't like it. Jesus said that, they killed him for it. Muhammad said that, they tried to kill him, but he got out before they tried to kill him, before they got him. Okay? All of these people throughout time, either it just became a religion after they were dead, or the people were trying to kill them, and they ended up having to leave or left because of it, okay? Because they don't want free-thinking people. They want you to sit in their seats, okay? So religions do that, but they're not wrong in the way that you're supposed to be going. The way is up. The way that you're supposed to be going is not physical, okay? So here we have the listen to the voice of Thoth, the Atlantean, conquer have I the laws of space-time. So Thoth has moved outside of that, and he's a prophet that is returning to tell you the way. So there's no difference between, say, Jesus returning or Muhammad returning or Hermes Trismegistus returning or Thor returning or Ganesh or Shiva returning. It's still the way that's being taught to you. So even if somebody invented this, it's the way. Do you see? And it's correct. So whoever invented this, if they were trying to create a religion, it didn't happen because there is no religion of Thoth the Atlantean. But people are listening to it with fresh eyes and fresh ears saying it's the way, okay? So let's continue, right? So conquer die the laws of space-time. Knowledge have I gained of the future of time. Know that a man is in his movement through space-time shall ever be one with the all, okay?
Look in the cause thou shalt bring into being, and surely thou shalt see that all is effect. So, O man, be sure the effects that ye bring forth are ever causes of more perfect effects. Know ye the future is never in fixation, but follows man's free will as it moves.
Okay, so literally here, a same message that's being told that they don't want you to know. They usually try to cut it out of the Bibles. You have free will. Okay, so, O man, be sure the effect that ye bring forth are ever causes of more perfect effects. Okay, so you have to know that ye in the future is never in fixation, but follows man's free will as it moves through the movements of time, space towards the goal. Okay, so you are free, and we are all free, and we are free to collectively create our own future. Okay, the churches don't want you to know that. Most of them don't want to tell you that. Okay, but we are free, and that is what is in all of those religions. That is what Muhammad was teaching you, Jesus was teaching you, even Moses was teaching you. Right? All of these religious figures, or these spiritual figures throughout all of time and all of the religions, were teaching you that you're free. They were teaching you that you have your own journey. Look into that. That's the common denominator. So even in this crazy, if you don't believe that Thoth the Atlantean ever existed, it's still telling you the same information, that know that we are free to make our own decisions, and we are the ones who are creating our own future. Okay, so let's continue here.
Through the movements of time-space, toward the goal where a new time begins, man can only read the future through the causes that bring the effects. Seek ye within the causation, and surely ye shall find the effects.
All right, so make sure you guys ask questions. Aaron, welcome, brother. Aaron popped in over on Facebook and said, "What's up, everyone? We're on TikTok, brother. I'm live on TikTok as well as YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and so I'm simulcasting on everything. So welcome, brother. Welcome over there on Facebook. You can pop in on YouTube. You can pop in on Facebook. You can pop Instagram. I'm also live there. Peter just popped in over there. Those of you who are on TikTok, if you guys have questions, type it in the chat. I will stop and I will answer your questions. So I see that a lot of you are in there in the chat. Some of you are just popping in and leaving, and some of you are sitting in there listening. You can ask me questions. I will answer, even if you think it's a question. There are no stupid questions. There are no crazy questions. There are no off-topic questions, okay? So if you guys want to ask questions over there, anywhere that you're listening, except for on the MP3 broadcast, you guys can't type in any questions because you guys don't have a thing to do that. There's no chat room there. Okay, so let's continue. All right.
Listen ye, O man, while I speak of the future, speak of the effect that follows the cause. Know ye that man in his journey lightward is ever seeking escape from the night that surrounds him, like the shadows that surround the stars in the sky.
Okay, so the veiling, right? So literally, now we're getting to that part. It's coming up here, and right now it's going to start in the next 20 seconds or so, next 10, 15 seconds, is that part that for whatever reason is the second most played part of all of the Emerald tablets on this platform that I'm playing it from, okay? So if you're not watching the visuals on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, you're like, if you're on TikTok, you're just seeing my face and hearing that, right? And if you're on the MP3 file, you're just hearing that. You don't even see my face anyways, because you guys are out there in the world listening on whatever podcast platform you listen on. All right, so know ye that man in his journey lightward is ever seeking to escape from the night that surrounds him, like the shadows that surround the stars in the sky. And like the stars in the sky space, he too shall shine from the shadows of night. So you're veiled, okay? You don't remember who you are. You don't know everything that you're supposed to know. You don't remember it. That was done to us on purpose by the Creator. Our job here on this plane in third dimension is the first place that we are self-aware. I think, therefore I am. You're supposed to then move into not I think, therefore I am, but I am, therefore I think. You're supposed to move into, you're supposed to evolve into upward spiraling back towards the source. You're supposed to be evolving into the realization of not only am I alive and I think, therefore I am. That is the beginning. That's a 5,000-year-old thought process from a Greek philosopher, like almost 5,000 years ago. I think, therefore I am. So we're supposed to be evolving past the I think, therefore I am. That means you're self-aware for the first time. Once you become self-aware, you realize you are something and you have a worth. You're supposed to then ponder that. You're supposed to then learn from that. And that's when you're supposed to discover that I have a soul. I am an immortal soul. I am, therefore I think. Okay. So I think, therefore I am is I'm self-aware. The beginning stage, that's this place, that's this school. That is the third dimension. That is the college that you're in. That is the school that you're in. To graduate from here, you graduate in your expanding of your consciousness to the place of I am, not I have. First you say, I have an immortal soul. I have a soul. I'm not just a worthless being. I have a soul. Then you're supposed to move into, that's 4D thinking. And then you're supposed to move into that and realize the realization of I am the immortal soul. And this is not what I am. This is where I am, what I'm doing in this place. That's the hardest part, is to realize that you are something more than this physical plane, flesh, pain body. You're supposed to expand your consciousness to that. So here you're hearing that. You are veiled. Because you are veiled, you have the cover of darkness, the veil of night. You don't remember these things. You're supposed to start piercing that veil. So the veil starts lifting and you start finding cracks and you start seeing through that veil. And then eventually that veil will dissipate. That is what you're trying to do. You're moving upward. You're spiraling upward. You're learning wisdom. The first step in avoiding a trap is knowing of its existence. This place is a trap. It distracts you. Everything here distracts you. Everything, television, internet, everything, your phone, yourself, everything. The place itself will distract you. You get caught up in your job and you won't think about yourself and you won't think about why am I here and what am I doing? That's normal. It's supposed to happen. Okay. It's normal and it's supposed to happen and we're supposed to do that. In and around all of that, we're supposed to then start to realize that I am something more. I have a worth. Maybe there is something more than just this place. Okay. That ponderance, that thinking, is the beginning of your way out of here. Okay, it's like the song all along the Watchtower from the 1960s, right? There must be some way out of here, said the Joker to the thief. Right? There's so much confusion here. I can't get no relief. Right? Those are the words from that song. It's about the realization that this is not right. Something's wrong here, and there must be some way out of here. How do we get out of here? That's the beginning of your journey, because you're asking questions, you're thinking for yourself. You're not just taking everything at face value. This is what's being taught to you. Know that, okay? Know that this is what's being taught. Know that we are in charge of creating our reality. Your focus determines your reality. Our collective consciousness, focus of our collective consciousness creates our reality, okay? That is the expansion of your consciousness into, well, how are we doing that then? That's a good question. Any question is a good question. Every question is a good question. That's why people are afraid to ask. And they go, I'm afraid to ask a question, right? Chandra, welcome. I see Chandra over there on Facebook. So people are afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. There are no stupid questions. There are no dumb questions. There are no off-topic questions. There are only questions. That is you thinking. That is you thinking for yourself and saying, what are you talking about? What is this about? Who are you? Who is this? What is this thing? That is good. Those are good things. The first step in avoiding a trap is knowing of its existence. You know that you're stuck in a place that this is, I don't know what's going on. Therefore, what is going on? Those are questions that are going to help you. Those are going to be questions that are going to expand your consciousness into looking and trying to find something different than this. Okay, that is what you're supposed to be doing. You are supposed to be doing that. This is what we're learning here. Let me read and find out exactly where we are here, right? I don't know if we're down at the bottom or at the top. List ye, old man, while I speak of the future. I don't think we got to that yet, right? Know ye in the future is not fixed, stable, but varies as causes bring forth an effect. So the future is not set, okay? The future is not set. The future is something that is fluid. We can change the future. So when people say there's prophecy that we're all going to die and the world's coming to an end and it's in the Bibles, but in all of those places, in all of those Bibles, what they tell you is the future is not set. Even with, if you know anything about Nostradamus, even with Nostradamus, they say, well, Nostradamus, he just gets lucky. None of what he says is true. What everybody skips over is the very first thing Nostradamus says before he starts in all his weird quatrains and his weird predictions is none of these things need to come to pass. All of these things can be changed. This is a warning of what I have seen in the future if nothing changes. Everyone never tells you that Nostradamus said that. So Nostradamus wrote those things saying, I don't want any of these things to actually happen. But when I look into the future, this is the most probable future that I see. No one tells you that. They push that aside and they just tell you the crazy shit that Nostradamus said after that. And then they go, see, he's wrong. He never gets anything right. He didn't want to be right. He wanted to be wrong. And he was warning people, this is what I'm seeing. And that was in the 1500s. So we're looking at 500 years ago that man saw those things. And if now 500 years later, none of the shit that Nostradamus said is coming true, that's exactly what Nostradamus wanted. That means Nostradamus would believe if he were alive now, that means somebody listened to me and changed things and it didn't happen. Do you see? Was it beyond Nostradamus's point of view to realize that the history would change in 500 years and those things wouldn't happen? Or was he literally trying to say, look out, you're running off a cliff. Don't do that. Stop running. Turn to the right. And if along the way somewhere we turned and that never happens, and then people get mad, he doesn't know what he's talking about 500 years ago. None of the things he said happened. Good. That's what he was wanting, I'll tell you. Okay. So when people are looking into the future, most people won't tell you, and it was only in a movie with Yoda, right? Yoda said, looking into the future is hard to see because the future is emotion. It's mostly emotion, so it's hard to see and it's not set. That was something in a movie that George Lucas popped into a movie script. Okay, that's more true to the future. Your future is not written. The future existence of the human race is not written. The political future and landscape of the world is not written in stone. But some people who are trying to control the future will try to tell you that they know the future and the future is written and it's going to be this way. And everyone's going to die because there's prophecy. The future is what we make of it. You, me, and everybody else. Your future, your individuality, your individual future, whoever you are in control of that future. It doesn't matter what people are telling you in the society that you live in. It doesn't matter what the world is telling you if they're trying to beat you in, right? Beat you down. Trust in God. That's apropos. A person with the name Trust in God joined the chat just as I was saying, you need to trust in yourself and trust in God. What is the odds of that? Now, there's something that we couldn't have predicted. Literally, trust in God. Welcome for popping in, right? That was perfect timing. You have no idea. Literally, I'm talking about the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. And in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, literally, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth is saying that the future is not written, that you are in charge of your own future and the collective consciousness of the human condition is in charge of their future. And I'm saying you have to trust in yourself and rewrite your own future, trust in yourself and trust in God. And bam, somebody comes in with the name Trust in God. I love you. That's great. I love that. Thanks for popping in. Smash those likes, guys. Smash those hearts for me. Make sure that we get the likes. Like me. Follow my TikTok page. I will be interpreting and talking and answering questions about spirituality, about even about geopolitical things, whatever you guys want to ask questions about. Right now, I'm doing my podcast, broadcasting in 70 countries around the world. I'm live in MP4 broadcast on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and on TikTok. And we're talking about the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, and we're on Emerald Tablet 12. And let's get going because this is the information that we're talking about. So look in the cause thou shalt bring into being. Okay, so stable, but varies as the cause brings forth an effect. So as we decide, and this is where let's go to another quote, right? So a quote from Jesus. Jesus said, if you had but the mustard seed amount of faith, you could literally say to this mountain, move from there to here, and the mountain would move. So if you look at any religious or spiritual text, you'll see the same thing. Your faith determines your reality. Your focus determines your reality. There's another quote from that Star Wars movies where Qui-Gon Jinn told Anakin Skywalker, be mindful of your thoughts. Your focus determines your reality. So literally, our focus as a society determines the reality of the planet. So stable, but it varies. So the future is not fixed. It's stable, but it varies as cause brings forth effect. Look in the cause thou shalt bring into effect. and surely thou shalt see that all is effect. So, old man, that's where we are. Let's continue.
And like the stars in the sky space, he too shall shine from the shadows of night. Ever his destiny shall lead him onward until he is one with the light. Aye, though his way lies midst the shadows, ever before him glows the great light. Dark though the way be, yet shall he conquer the shadows that flow around him like night. Far in the future I see man as light born, free from the darkness that fetters the soul.
Okay, so now Thoth is saying literally far in the future, he sees that the human condition, the people in the human species, will evolve into a light being. So we won't just be stuck in human form. You, me, everybody, we will be moving upward, spiraling upward back towards the source, back towards the one, back towards the all, back towards whatever you see that Godhead in the universe. Okay, back towards that creator of the universe. Okay, so while I speak of the future, speak of the effects that follow the cause. Have we got past that? See, I think the scroll has gone up and we're still behind that. We'll see. I'll have to put on the subtitles to find out. So let's continue. I might already be down here. List ye, old man, while I speak of the future. He may have already said that. We'll see if he doesn't. We'll be catching up to it.
Living in light without the bounds of the darkness, to cover the light that is the light of their soul. Know ye, O man, before ye attain this, that many the
see, that was behind that I was reading. Okay, so we're where we're caught up to. Okay, so living in the light without bounds of darkness, to cover the light that is light of their soul. Know ye, O man, before ye attain this, many the dark shadows shall fall on your light. Okay, so before you get to the light body, before we ascend away from this place, there's going to be a lot of strife. Okay, there's going to be a lot of the veiling. That is where we are now. That is the condition that we are in now. Okay, so we will eventually, you, me, and everyone else in our time, we will move away from this physical body and realize the non-physical. I have an immortal soul. Then I am. So right now you're in the place of doing. You're in the place of I think, therefore I am. I'm self-aware. You're self-aware. We're all self-aware. We know that we are something. We know that we have a self-worth. That is the place of third dimension. So as you're moving away from the third dimension, you start learning about the spiritual dimension. That is 4D thinking. Now it is, I have a soul. I have an immortal soul. Okay. Once you start moving away from the third dimensional thinking and realize not just I have a soul, I have an immortal spirit. I am the immortal soul. That is me. I am not this pain body. I am not this thinking mind. I am not this flesh. I am not the ego. I am not the brain inside this human construct. This is an avatar that I am living vicariously through. I am an immortal soul. Then that means I reside somewhere else. I do not reside inside of space-time. I reside in time-space. I reside outside of this plane and this body. But I am seeing through this body, so I am connected, like putting on goggles that we do now and then looking around with the goggles. So you're looking in first person. So once you realize that I am an immortal soul, not I have. I think, therefore I am. Then it is I am, therefore I think. So your expansion into fourth dimension or fourth density is to realize that you are not this physical plane. You are something else. You have an immortal soul. You are an immortal soul. You are an immortal spirit. That is who you are. Every one of you. That is what all of the Talmuds around the world, all of the Bibles, all of the religions have as an undertone, that there is a way out of here. The way is returning to source. How do I do that? By the realization that I am not the physical body. I am not the physical plane. There is something more than that. That's the expansion of your consciousness into 4D. There is something different. There is something new. There is something more. Then where am I? Because I'm not this pain body. I am something else. I have an immortal soul. That's the beginning stages of you moving away from 3D and moving into 4D. Then the I am. I am. So I think, therefore I am. And then the I have, therefore I am. And then I am, therefore I think. Okay. So once you start to move your mindset into the realization of that I am not just this physical body in this physical place, there is something else. Whatever that is, I am not this body. I am something else. And when this body dies, I will continue because I am not this body. When the body dies, I'm not going to cease to exist. Once you have that realization, you start to move into a different place. Then you start moving up into a different place and you start moving into that 4D body that is the immortal soul. Okay. That is the I am. I am, therefore I think. So you're being told here that until he is one with the light, until we are one with the light, we will still have strife. We will still have these things happen to us. So you're always going to have the ego. You're always going to have things that you have to overcome, things that you have to learn. This is the beginning of that, but it gets easier. The hardest plane and the hardest learning is the first plane and the first learning where we are here now. Okay. After this, as you move up, there's different kinds of learning, there's different kinds of strife, but it's not so physically hard. It's not so emotional. It's not all like this, because this place is the hardest place to learn. Once you move into the next phase of your learning and you start realizing I have an immortal soul and you start moving into that plane, the troubles and the tribulations and the problems of this third dimensional plane sort of start to subside. The ego doesn't have as much reach to contact you, to tell you all the crazy stuff that's going to make you live in fear. You start moving out of that fear-based living in the flesh and you start moving into that spirit body. You still have to reside in a physical body because that happens until halfway through the 6th dimension. But you start moving out of that, okay? So let's continue. So let's see, and where we are, like the shadows that surround the stars in the sky and like the stars in the sky and space and time, he too shall shine from the shadows of night. Ever his destiny shall lead him upward until he is one with the light. Though his way it lies in the midst of shadows, ever before him glows the great light. Dark though the way be, yet shall he conquer the shadow that flows around him. Like the night far in the future, I see man is light-born, free from the darkness that fettered the soul, living in the light without the bounds of the darkness to cover the light that is the light of their soul. Know ye, O man, before ye attain this, many the dark shadows shall fall upon your light, striving to quench with the shadows of darkness the light of the soul that strives to be free. Okay, so let's continue.
Dark shadows shall fall on your light, striving to quench with the shadows of darkness the light of the soul that strives to be free. Great is the struggle between light and darkness, age old and yet ever new. Yet know in a time far in the future, light shall be all and darkness shall fall.
See?
Listen ye, O man, to my words of wisdom. Prepare, and ye shall not bind your light. Man has risen and man has fallen, as ever new waves of consciousness flow from the great abyss below us toward the sun of their goal. Ye, my children, have risen from a state that was little above the beast, until now of all men ye are greatest. Yet before thee were others greater than thee.
Okay, so let's stop there for a second, right? And so we were raising just from what is just above the beast, right? So we know that saying, right? That saying is in other Talmuds around the world, the number of the beast, right? The nature of the beast. The beast is the human condition, is third dimensional reality. And people say, like in the Bible, it says in a couple of the different Bibles, let him who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast. For it is the human number. It is the number 666. That is a wrongful translation of the actual words. Okay, the actual words were, "Let he who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast, for it is the number of man, not a number of man, the number of man." And its number is 666. And it actually used to say 63 which means 666. So it's 666, but it is not a number of man. It is the number of man. Let me explain that. Okay. 666, we, me, you, everybody in this corporeal form, this body, this reality, this third dimensional reality. I am a construct of six neutrons, particles, 6 proton particles, right? 6 neutrons, 6 proton, and 6 what? Okay. So 6 neutron, 6 proton, and 6 electron particles make up this human flesh, this reality. Okay. So when they say we are starborn, you hear Thoth talking about that. We are starborn. We are born of stardust. We are born of chemicals. We are born of these things. That which makes up the human condition is 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, and 6 protons. 666. That makes up the number of the beast. The beast is the flesh. The beast is us. The beast is third dimensional reality and living in third dimensional reality. So here you hear Thoth talking about this. Either the person who wrote this knew and understood the science that makes up the human condition, that we are literally 6 neutrons, 6 protons, 6 electrons. Okay. That is what makes up this physicality, this place. So when people say the nature of the beast, they're really saying the nature of nature, the nature of the beast, the number of the beast, the number of egoic third dimensional mind is this place. Me, you, everybody living in it. This is the beast. We are the beast. When you're living and eating of the flesh of the tree of life, you're living in this reality, and you believe this reality is all there is. You're living in the lower 3 chakras. That is living in the place of reality. The lower 3 chakras is this place. The first chakra is the energy of the base of this reality. The next energies that we have are the sacral plexus, which is nature and the energy of knowing, the energy of psychic abilities, the energy of feeling nature and being one with this place. And then you have the next chakra is the yellow ray chakra. The yellow ray chakra, our sun, Sol is a yellow ray sun. We are the third planet, third chakra, third star, the star in the third trimester of its development. We are in a place of doing. That is the place of doing. So all of those chakras that are there is base, nature, doing, third dimension, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3 dimensions, first 3 chakras. We are in the third dimension. That is the number of the beast. That is the nature of the beast. That is the nature of nature. Okay. We become the beast when we're living in the flesh, because we are the flesh beast that is the top of the food chain. We're dominating everything. We're destroying everything. We're fighting over each other. We're doing all these things to each other. We're controlling things. That is the beast. So when they say the number of the beast, let him who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast. The number of the beast is 666, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, 6 protons. We are the beast if we live in the flesh. If you then leave the flesh, going through the heart chakra and not loving yourself and staying in the bottom, living in this reality and wanting clicks, likes, money, fame, power, control. If you move away from that because you're in service to others, not in service to self, you're in service to others, and you love other people, you love the universe, you love the plants, you love the animals, you love other people, you love people, you want people to do good things, you want people to better themselves. We want to better our people. We are moving then into a spiritual place, the upper 3 chakras. Okay. The upper 3 chakras rule wisdom, rule understanding, rule from love to the voice, speaking, being, conversating, learning, wisdom, understanding, and then the understanding of the rounding out of I am, not just I have. I think, therefore I am. Bottom 3 chakras, physicality, third dimension. I love myself, still lower 3 chakras. I love others. Now you're moving into a spiritual plane. Now you're moving up. This is what they're talking about. The Ra's talking about here, saying they see that the human condition will eventually move out of this. But the journey from third dimension, just above the beast, back to the source is not easy. It's still going to have strife. But this place where the beast is going to have more strife than anywhere else until you graduate from beastly flesh things and start moving into a spiritual. If you're living in the flesh and that's all you want to do, that's fine. You may think I'm crazy for talking the way I'm talking. That's okay. You are where you are. You're living in that place and you're not ready to be anywhere else. And that's okay. I'm not here to tell you that you're wrong, because you have to go through there. I went through there, and everybody does. We all go through all of that journey. It's just we make it our own. If you're now questioning and you're in that place of thinking and you're starting to question things, there's a reason for it. Okay. You're starting to question things because you're thinking for yourself. Thinking for yourself is going to get you to realize, I have an immortal soul. Then eventually, when you move out of that phase into a higher plane of existence, you're going to go, wait, I am. There's the I am again. I am the immortal soul. This is the avatar. This is not who I am. This is who I'm being here in this place. Okay. So you have to realize that. Once you realize that, you're expanding your consciousness. That's up to you. You can do it in your own time. I love you guys. Keep hitting those, if you're on TikTok, keep smashing those hearts for me, please. I love you. I just hit phase 2, whatever that means, of the TikTok journey. So that means I opened up something. That means I've been alive long enough. In the last 2 days or 3 days, I've been live for like 3 hours, I guess, because I just went 2 hours and I was an hour and a half before. And enough of you are hitting my likes on my page, I guess, that TikTok makes you jump through hoops to stay or to keep continuing to go live, right? So I love you guys for doing that. Thank you for helping me. Make sure you follow me on TikTok. Hit that button to follow me, like my page on TikTok, and then hit that button to get when I go live to know that I'm live. I do go live every day, every week at the same time, at this time, to talk about this stuff. I'll be going live on TikTok and other times to do that. But when I'm doing this, I'm broadcasting on 4 other places, and then 5 if you count the MP3 broadcast, and that goes out to the entire world, but they can't talk in the chat. You guys can. So if you have questions, please ask me questions in the chat and I will answer them. Okay, so let's get back to Thoth the Atlantean, tablet 12. So here we see that Thoth is talking about that. So waves of consciousness flow from the great abyss below us towards the sun of their goal. Ye, my children, have risen from the state that was little above the beast, 3rd dimension, little above the beast, moving up, okay? So we're moving up. That was little above the beast until now. All of men, ye are greatest. Yet before thee were others greater than thee. Yet tell I thee, as before the others have fallen. Okay, so here's where we're talking about and hearing about the fall of the human condition, the fall of man, right? So people always talk about that, the fall of Babylon, the fall of the tower. So what happened there? So there was a group of people here on earth that were way above us in spiritual practice, 4D, 5D in ideology, and they fell. Are we descendants of them, or are we not descendants of them? That is truly something that we don't know for certain, but it would appear that we are the remnants of what was left over from that society. We now know that 12,000 years ago, there was a calamity. We know there was a flood that happened that killed off a lot of the people on the earth. Prior to that, like, we now know that 77,000 years ago, 75,000 years ago, somewhere in that range, there was a global empire like we are today that covered the entire earth. And there was a calamity that happened that looks like a asteroid came too close to the earth, and it flipped the earth over on its axis and destroyed 90% of the population of the earth. Is that what is being told here by Thoth? We don't know 100%, but we do know that Thoth is talking about a calamity that happened where the human race fell from the greatness of being more spiritual than we are now to a simpler time where we are now. Okay, so that is being told in many different religions. That's why I stopped here to talk about that. You look at most of the religions, they talk about either the flood or a volcano that erupted or a meteor that came by, and that was the fall and one of the falls of the human race. So here you see the Thoth the Atlantean. So some people can say, well, it was made up in 1929. So chances are it was just them taking that. However you look at it, it's still the same. And we all have this idea that there was this fall, that the humans fell, and that we were descended in our vibration and became simpler, and that we're now returning from that simpler place. So did we lose the knowledge? Did we lose the technology? Did we lose the knowledge that we were at a higher level. Okay, so then you have people like me who say there was a time when people took control of the information of all these religions and changed it to lower your vibration, to lower you into a place. This is the same as what is being told in all of these Talmuds, that something happened and it lowered the vibration and brought us down to a simpler time. No matter how you want to look at it, no matter how you think we got here, the fact is that all of the places and all of the religions are telling us that we were once in a higher plane of existence with a higher thought process, with a higher vibration, and that we fell back down to where we are now, and we need to climb back up to where we were. And you're finding that being told in all of these different places. Okay, so this is what Thoth is saying right now. Okay, so men have risen and man has fallen as ever new waves of consciousness flow from the great abyss below us towards the sun of their goal. So that means that as these things are happening, there is an energy that's trying to keep us from going back up. Whoever you want to believe that is, whether it's people, whether it's the devil, whether it's the just negative energy, whatever you want to believe, whatever you want to add to that, insert your idea here. It is being told by everyone that there is negative opposition that's trying to stop us from going back to the place where we should be at in our vibration. Let's continue.
Yet tell I thee as before, the others have fallen. So also shall ye come to an end. And upon the land where ye dwell now, barbarians shall dwell, and in turn rise to light. For God.
Okay, so you're also seeing that Thoth is explaining that there will be another cycle, that the cycles are endless. So there are cycles that we live in. If you listen to, say, the Aborigines, I'm over here in Australia right now, the Aborigines in Australia, and I'm from the Americas. I'm from America, I'm from the United States, and the natives in the United States, those two Aboriginal people, those two original people that have their cultures go back for a very, very long time, thousands of years prior to the culture. They talk about a time, knowing of a time that was before the time that we're living now. They talk about cycles, and weirdly, there people in the United States and people all the way over here in Australia, that their culture goes back and they have memory of stories saying that our cultures were living in cycles, and those cycles are the culture gets really big, and then some calamity happens, and the culture gets diminished and falls, and then the culture starts again, and it rises and falls. Just like we know that in history, empires rise and fall, rise and fall. Look at the Greek Empire. The Greek Empire rose and it fell. Look at the Roman Empire, rose and it fell. Look at the German Empire. They tried to rise and they fell. Let's go back in time to the Chinese Empire, the Mongol Empire. They rose and they fell. The Chinese Empire was far bigger than it is, and now it's where it is. It's pretty big still. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're gone, because they're not. Right? The American Empire or the European Empire. Look at the English Empire. They rose and they were controlling a lot of the planet. Now they fell and they're smaller. The Spanish, they rose and they were controlling most of the world, and then they've fallen. The French, they rose and they were controlling most of the world, and then they've fallen and they're smaller. The Vikings, they were, if you look back in history, they rose and they were controlling most of the world, and they have fallen and they're back. So you have this. Leah, welcome. Mama Leah came in, welcome. So you have this rise and fall of empires. You have this rise and fall of the human condition. And you have this being told in all of these spiritual practices around the world, that there are times that this cycle happens to where the cycle is a cycle of life that seems to be thousands and thousands of years long. So people get afraid and they go, we're right at the end of our cycle and we're going to fall because the Bibles say it's time. And we don't know that. That's why it says in there, God will come as a thief in the night. We don't know when the cycle is going to be. We don't know if it's going to be today, tomorrow, or 50,000 years from now. Okay, but we do know that there are some sort of cycles that happen, and we become a part of that. So the only thing you, I, or anyone else, thank you, baby. My wife's giving me some gifts over here. I love you, baby. The only way that stuff happens, Leah, welcome. Thanks for popping in. Share this out. Get some more people in here, right? So the only way that happens is that spiritual growth happens and comes out of that strife. Again, this is what he's saying. So In the future, at some point, Thoth is not trying to predict that it's tomorrow or the next day. In the future, at some point, we will rise and we will then ascend. People don't see that. They just see rise and fall, and they go, well, then if everybody falls, then we're all going to die. If you're living in the flesh and you're living in 3D only, you're going to think that that's it. We're going to be in the flesh and we're going to die, and then that's going to be it. If you look at it from a spiritual standpoint, if we rise in a spiritual standpoint and move into the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, moving into our spirit body, we will not fall if the entire place does, because we're all leaving. We're all leaving. There's your rapture that everybody talks about, right? So if we're all being diligent and we're taking care of ourselves and we're balancing ourselves and we're becoming better, we are going to be leaving. So then will there be less population on the earth? Yeah, because a bunch of us are going to leave. So if a bunch of us leave in a 500-year time period, a 1,000-year time period, or all at once, the population is going to diminish. And who's going to be left behind? So this is where people talk about this rapture. Who's going to be left behind? Those people who are not ready. So you're going to have you're going to have a fall of the human condition, because the average vibration of the human condition are going to be those people who aren't ready to move on to the next stage of existence. So it's not something to fear. Everybody's afraid we're all going to die. The world's going to come to an end. We're all going to blow up and I'm going to die. And that's going to be it. You have to realize that you are an immortal soul. This pain body is not you. Okay. And if you don't believe in that, that's okay. Don't fear either, because you'll still be here, apparently. Okay. So don't worry about that. Our whole world's not going to blow up and we're all going to die and then have nowhere to go. Okay. Because we are forever. And this is one of the underlying messages in every spiritual practice and every philosophical ideology on the entire planet throughout all of history, that you need not fear. Fear not, because you, me, everyone is forever. And if you don't want to believe that, you don't have to. I'm not here to try and make you believe anything. I'm just here to try and get you to start thinking for yourself. Okay, so yet before thee were other greater than thee, and yet ye, let's get back to the Emerald Tablets, right? Yet I tell thee, before thee others have fallen. So also shall ye come to an end, and upon the land where ye dwell now, barbarians shall dwell in and turn rise to the light. So the same thing will happen. It's a cycle. Okay, this is what Thoth is saying. It's a cycle. So they will be simpletons and barbarians, but they will too also turn up to the light. And upon the land where ye dwell now, barbarians shall dwell, and in turn rise to the light. Forgotten shall be the ancient wisdom. So again, the veiling happens, and the ancient wisdom, the wisdom that happened here before, before the fall of the human condition, is no longer here. None of us have it, and we're trying to strive back, and we're discovering it. Okay, that's the cycle of life. That's the cycle that happens, and we're in the middle of that cycle. Where we are in that cycle, are we closer to the top? Are we closer to the bottom? Each one of us has to determine that about ourselves. Where we are as a civilization, I will tell you we're closer to the top than anywhere near the bottom. We are far closer to the top. We are closer to a place of moving into a higher dimensional mind, a hive mind complex of thought processes. We are moving into a phase of the existence of the human condition that is upward moving, upward mobile, away from third dimension, low vibration. I tell you that. I tell you that with all honesty. If you look into that, you will find that. Okay, so let's continue with Thoth on Emerald Tablet number 12.
Forgotten shall be the ancient wisdom, yet ever shall live through hidden from men. Aye, in the land thou callest Chem, races shall rise and races shall fall. Forgotten shalt thou be of the children of men, yet thou shalt have moved to a star space, beyond this leaving behind this place where thou hast dwelt. The soul of man moves ever onward, bound not by any one star, but ever moving to the great goal before him, where he is dissolved in the light of the all. Know ye that ye shall ever go onward, moved by the law of cause and effect, until in the end both become one. Aye, man, after ye have gone, others shall move in the places ye lived. knowledge and wisdom shall all be forgotten, and only a memory of God's shall survive.
Okay, so in the same sense that this world production that we have now, this rock opera, this global empire that is here now, 10,000 years ago, we were much smaller. 12,000 years ago, we don't even know if it was still us. We don't know if we had fallen and we were just barbarians running around. We do know from history that 10,000 years ago was the end of an ice age that lasted for 10,000 years. So that means 20,000 years ago began an ice age that lasted for 10,000 years, and that ended about 10 or 12,000 years ago, and now we are the empire that is coming from that. Was it that there were more people here that were more advanced, and that during that ice age that we fell in that 10,000 years? We don't know 100%, but what we see when we're looking into history and we're digging in, we have these things like the pyramids, we have like Machu Picchu, we have Angkor Wat, we have we have Sacsayhuaman, we have these different places around the world that we have found that don't belong to this modern society. And we see that they're older than that. So most of those are even older than that. We're thinking that some of them are older than 12,000 years ago. Even the pyramids, we're looking at some of these things, and some of these places we're finding history that says that it was longer ago than that, right? But we're not sure. We're still figuring that out. However, we have found some places now in history, like Stonehenge. We have figured out that was probably built somewhere around 75,000, 77,000 years ago, or before that even. Okay. And there's other places in the world over there in Turkey. There's a place there that we're digging up now that we realize that culture, like the one that made the pyramids possibly, and definitely the one that made Stonehenge, is the same, in that they ended 77,000 years ago. That means there was a global culture here that is older than 77,000 years ago that we have just discovered in the past 20 or 30 years on this earth. What were those people, and were those people a global empire as big as us? It seems that they were. Did they have the same technology as us? We don't know. It doesn't seem like they did, but it does seem like they were very advanced, just because they were not living with machines that we have and cell phones doesn't mean that they were primitive. It just means they didn't have this kind of technology. Okay, it doesn't mean that those people were running around in skins and Neanderthals, because they were building things we can't build. We know this. We know they built shit we can't build today with all of our technology. So what did they have? What kind of knowledge did they have that gave them access to building the things that they built that we can't do today and can't duplicate? Okay, so were they more advanced than us? In many ways they were. Through mathematics, spirituality, and things, they must have been more advanced than us, because they were able to do things we can't do with our technology. So that empire, that global empire, had a calamity, and something happened and they fell. The amount of people that survived that on this earth were less than 1 million people. Okay, less than 1 billion people. It was like 600 million people on the entire globe. South Africa, Madagascar, Norway, Finland, and Australia, where I am today. Those people survived, and all of the races that are now here are from variants from those races, it would appear. We don't know 100%, so don't quote me on that and get mad and start sending me emails, right? So I love you guys. Thank you for, make sure you guys hit that heart. If you're on wherever you are, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, hit like and subscribe. Instagram, same thing. Facebook, same thing. TikTok, same thing. Make sure you hit those hearts. Make sure you say, I love you. Make sure that you subscribe to my podcast. Okay. So literally this on this planet, we know of at least 2 other societies before us, 77,000 years ago, and quite possibly 20,000 years ago, 25,000 years ago. So it may be that 77,000 years ago, there was a calamity that destroyed the earth, and then the people came back and they were living until, say, 20, 30,000 years ago. And then we had an ice age that started 20,000 years ago and ended 10,000 years ago. And now we're building back up from that, because it would appear that ice age did damage to the human condition and lowered the population in some ways. There might have been other calamities. We don't know yet. We don't have all of that, but we do know that there's a cyclical nature to nature in living in the universe, and we're living in that. Okay, so we can either be upward mobile and moving back towards the creator, or we can stay where we are. You have to make that decision on your own as to what to do. But know this place is a trap. It's designed to distract you, to keep you here, to try and stop you from getting back to the creator. The creator created that way. And know that as a societal structure, we as a society are also going through that. As within, so without. As below, so above. This has been told in all of the religions. Okay. All right. Let me continue here. So literally, let me get back to where we were. As I to thee am a god by the knowledge, so are ye. So he's saying by the knowledge, and in fact, I don't even know if he said that yet. By the knowledge that Thoth now has, he would appear to be a god to us. But he's also saying you have access to all of that knowledge. Okay. So literally, that's what's being said. So let's continue here. Okay.
And only a memory of gods shall survive. As I to thee am a god by my knowledge, so ye too shall be gods of the future, because of your knowledge far above theirs. Yet know ye that all through the ages man shall have access to law when he will. Ages to come shall see revival of wisdom to those who shall inherit thy place in this star. They shall in turn come into wisdom, and learn to banish the darkness by light. Yet greatly must they strive through the ages, and bring unto themselves the freedom of light. Then shall there come unto man the great warfare that shall make the earth tremble and shake in its course.
See, so this is where people start getting afraid. Anytime they start talking about a big strife, everyone goes, oh no, the end of the world, great warfare, we're all going to die. Brr, brr, brr. Or as my sister in America would say, burka, burka, boo. Not quite sure what that means, but it sounds cool to say, right? So those of you who are in America, you probably say that and you laugh about that, right? My sister's been saying that for years. I never did burka, burka, boo, right? So I guess that means et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So I think it's hilarious. So literally, and so you have to realize when man again shall conquer the ocean and fly in the air on wings like birds. What? Okay, so this information was given to the world before we were doing that. This information is information that was already here, planted before 1929. So unless somebody ran over there and dug it up the day before and planted it, we didn't have any air flying machines yet. So this information was given to people, and it had a very good possibility that Hermes Trismegistus 5,000 years ago had this knowledge. And you hear this right here. Okay, so yet great. Now I'm backing up again, and I'm going to come back to where we are. All right, learn to banish the darkness by the light, yet greatly must thy strive through the ages to bring unto thee themselves the freedom of light. Then shall be come unto man the great warfare that shall make the earth tremble and shake in the course. Then shall the dark brothers open the warfare between light and darkness, when man again shall conquer the ocean and fly into the air on wings like birds. Okay, so this is a prophecy that is saying there's going to be large strife in the future when people conquer the ocean and fly in the air like birds again, because in the time that this was written and given to the humans on this earth, we were not doing that because we had fallen away from that. Okay, so now people would look at that and say, oh no, that's happening now because we have that. Well, we've had that for over 100 years. Okay, in the 1920s, when this was found, 1928, 29, it's almost 100 years. In 2 years, it'll be 100 years ago that these tablets were supposedly found. Okay, if they were written then, we were already had this. But think about what went on in the 1800s, the 1900s, and even since these tablets were found in 1929, the 1930s, the 1940s, and all of the strife and all of the warfare and all the things we've had for 100 years now. 100 years, we're having wars after wars after wars after wars. People are like, it's getting worse. No, it's not. Look at history. Okay, if you look at history, 2,000 years ago when Jesus was here, the Romans had come in and conquered the Jewish people. That means they murdered all of the Jewish soldiers and knocked the Jewish government over, and there was no king and there was nobody, and the king had surrendered. You had Herod at the time, who was living under the rule of the Romans. So if you look in history, history is written by warfare. There is warfare all the time. The Vikings invaded England and took over all of England except for Wessex. And then the English fought back and killed them off and took back their place. Before that, you had Hadrian's Wall, where the Romans had gone over and tried to conquer all of the Vikings, and the Vikings stopped them at that wall that was somewhere in England, somewhere there in England. And they put up that wall that was there. The Chinese had the same thing. They built the Great Wall of China. Why? Because they were fighting an endless war with other people from the north. Okay, so we're not living in the only time of strife, is my point. We are not living in the time of troubles where we're all going to die. We're living in the time of troubles because it's the human condition is the time of troubles. Okay, so if you look at, there is not a time in history where there was a time where we were at peace and the entire planet and everything was beautiful. Everyone says that the Garden of Eden. Well, that was, if you listen to that, that was when there were only 2 humans, and supposedly those 2 humans created all the humans. Do you realize that the only way that happened with 2 people is that they were having sex with their children? Because if you look at a human species, you need at least 7 minimum. 14 people, 7 couples to create a society. So if Adam and Eve were the only 2 people, that means Adam was having sex with his daughters, and the sons were having sex with Eve, the mother. Okay, they don't tell you all that. They went in and they rode off into the sunset happily ever after. But then if you listen to that in the Bible, they say, and then Adam and Eve got kicked out of the garden and they went outside and multiplied, and Adam's sons married women. Wait a minute, who are these women that they found? There were other people out in the world. So Adam and Eve weren't the first 2 because there were other people out in the world. They were the only 2 that got kicked out of the Garden of Eden, and they went outside and there were other people that they bred with. So that means there were other people here already. So that story doesn't make sense. There's something where that story's been edited. We need to look into that, right? So there's something there that's missing from that Adam and Eve story, I tell you. And everybody who has any kind of theological background says that story is not right. There's something missing, because it's either they had sex with each other and there were no other people, or there were other people, and the story says there were other people. So how could they be the first 2 if there were other people? And then if there were no other people, who were those people that they were having sex with to have children, to multiply? Their kids, their grandkids? That's freaky deaky, right? So either way, that doesn't make any sense, okay? So there was something else that went on there. So that's been edited. Something's changed in that story, or that was normal. I mean, if you go back in time, let's be serious about this inbreeding thing. If you go back and look at the kings and the monarchs of all of the nations, they were all marrying and having sex with their sisters and brothers and cousins and moms and children. Okay, the Egyptians did the same thing. Right? The Egyptians were marrying their sisters and having sex with them and having kids with them. So were the kings and queens of all of Europe. They were all marrying each other's brothers and sisters and mothers and sons, and everybody was having sex with everybody until the DNA started breaking down, because they started being too close together in their DNA, and then they had to start breeding with other people. Okay, so I'm just saying. So maybe at a time back in the past, in the Hebrew pantheon, maybe people were having sex with their family members, and then they changed it somewhere, and they just kind of forgot to change the story all the way. I don't know the answer to that. I'm a theologian. I look into it. I just know that there was a lot of that going on in history, where you see monarchs and they were marrying their sister and they were having children. Okay. And then you were seeing that they were marrying their mother and they're marrying their daughters. So there was a lot of inbreeding going on by these people who claim they were in charge of the whole world. Just saying, they're the ones that wrote the history, and they're telling the history that there was some inbreeding going on. Okay, so there's going to be strife in the future. This is the normal progression. This is why I stopped here, and we'll get back to it. The normal progression of what happens in the human condition. And this is why I wanted to address this. So if you're still here from a minute ago and you heard that, where Thoth said, and I'll read that, right? They shall in turn come into wisdom and learn to banish the darkness of light. Yet greatly must they strive through the ages to bring unto themselves the freedom of light. Then shall there come a time unto man to great warfare that shall make the earth tremble and shake in its course. Then shall the dark brothers open the warfare between light and dark. Then when man again shall conquer the ocean and fly in the air on wings like a bird, when he has learned to harness the lightning, then shall the time of warfare begin. Okay, this is a cycle. Okay. And it doesn't mean that we're all going to blow each other up. It is a normal cycle that happens when a culture reaches a certain zenith, a certain place. Okay. So we have reached that place. We reached that place of conquering the oceans and flying in the air on wings like a bird when he has learned to harness the lightning. We have learned to harness the lightning. Okay. When a society gets to that part of the development, then there's all that is because they are in a position of learning and in a position of graduating from where they are, or blowing themselves up because they're living too much in 3D and falling. Okay, so it is literally just the zenith of a societal structure. So our societal structure is reaching that zenith, that point of no return. That is, and I talk about this all the time, that is the wave that is cresting. We are not going into the fall of the human race and starting the Third World War and the calamity that's going to kill us off. People want you to believe that. So you look around and they go, we're all going to die. It's getting worse. It's not getting worse. It's getting better. And if you don't think it is, read history. Okay, people don't want you to do research on your own because then they can make you afraid and then they can get money from you to change things, and they don't really change anything. Okay, if you look at history, you'll see that there was far more death, destruction, and warfare going on, slavery going on in the past. Things have changed and they have gotten better. It's just that when a societal structure gets to a certain point, there is going to be strife because it's getting harder. Why? Because there are people who want it to stay the way it is, and there are people who want to move into the next phase of existence in the societal structure. So because of that, we are getting to a level to where we are leveling up as an entire species, and there are certain people who don't want that to happen, and they like it the way it is. They don't want it to change. So those people are trying to scare you into believing that if you keep going, we're all going to die. Don't do it. We're going to blow up and we're going to go into nothingness. Because look, they tell about it in the past. Those are cycles that they tell about that gets to a certain place where people who want it to stay the way it is fight really hard to keep control of the way life is because they want it to stay that way, because they like it that way, because they're making trillions and trillions of dollars. And then there are people who want to change things, and that is going to happen. So if they convince you to stay where you are, don't run, don't go, just wait here, and you do, nothing changes. If you start looking within yourself and questioning and asking questions and looking around the world, looking around the universe, looking around trying to find your place in all of this, you're going to see that it doesn't have to be that way. First thing that Thoth said is the future is not set. The future is what you make of it. However, your societal structure will one day get to the zenith of its societal cycle. And in that time, you, me, all of us will have to decide where we are going to go. Are we going up or are we staying here? Okay. If you wish to stay here, you will stay here. If you wish to go up, you will go up. It depends on what you want to do. If you start looking at spiritual practice and say, there is a God, there is a creator, I have a soul, am an immortal soul, you will then start to move up on your journey. Whatever religion you want to move up on is your choice. You choose where you want to fit and what makes you feel good. All of them are telling you the same thing. They're all telling you that the way is to ascend back to God. The way back to that place, whatever you call it, and whatever spiritual practice that you have, whatever religion that you follow, is upward. It is not here. It is upward away from here. Okay. So that means the one thing that is true in all religions is staying here is not the way. Okay. So moving upward away from here is the way. All of them say the same thing. Okay. How you do that is up to you, because each religion has its own laws and rules. Whatever fits for you, you take those and go with that because it feels good to you. No one should tell you what you should do. And some people who are zealots again in some religions will hate me right now because I'm preaching that people have the freedom to choose which way they want to do. It's all the same way. So it's just a matter of what laws you feel comfortable with. Okay. And if you don't want a religion, you don't have to have one. That is what is being told to you by all of those people who were all of those people who were the prophets who were telling you that way that has now become a religion. Okay. Muhammad didn't say you got to go to church. He was preaching out in the wilderness like Jesus was doing. Jesus didn't say you need to go to church. None of those people, Lao Tzu from the Tao, Buddha, none of those people from any of those religions that you know of that are on this earth, the people who were teaching you the way never said you have to go into a box and sit there and pay those people money. None of them said that. People said that. If you're comfortable doing that, do it. It's okay. If you're not comfortable with that, don't do it. It's just as okay. And don't let anybody tell you it's not, because your way is the proper way, not someone else's way. But if you choose to follow a certain way, do it. It's okay. You're still going to get there. Just keep moving forward. Thoth said that, and everyone says that. Just keep moving forward. I can't tell you the way to get back to God, but I can tell you that that way is a journey that you have to take, and you have to then raise your vibration. So I can tell you that it's a vibrational thing that is raising your vibration, that is leaving this place and moving up to a different place. That I can tell you because all of the ascended masters everywhere in the universe, everywhere on this planet, were telling you that. Okay, so that's the bottom line common denominator. Even if you don't think that Thoth the Atlantean is real, even if you think it was just made up, it's made up from all these other ways. If it was made up, if it's not made up, it's older than most of those ways, and it's still saying the same thing. Lao Tzu said the Tao 650 years or 630 years before Jesus was even born, 800 years before Muhammad. The Buddha also said the same thing at the same time, 600 to 700 to 800 years before those two prophets were even born. But they were teaching the same thing. Okay, so you look at that, you look at other cultures, and you see that it goes back further. Shiva was back then, before then as well. So Ra or Horus in the Egyptian pantheon, those go back even further, but they're teaching the same way. It's just the semantical things about the laws and the name of the deity that is the creator of the universe changes. But the creator of the universe is still the creator of the universe, so who cares what the name is? Okay, you don't have to worry about that. Just know that there is a creator. There is a universe. You have an immortal soul. You're not this pain body, this thinking mind, this ego, this place in 3D. You're something else that resides somewhere else. And there's a creator that's up there that is bigger than all of this, that created all of this, that we're trying to get back to. That's all the same in all of the religions. So if you like the religion, stay with it. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Religions are okay if you're comfortable there. If you're not comfortable with the religions, go with spirituality. Religion recruits you, spirituality waits for you to find it, right? So let's pay the bills real quick, and then we'll get back to the Emerald Tablets. So for those of you listening on TikTok, you're just going to hear the words. Those of you listening around the world on the MP3 broadcast, you're just going to hear the words. Those of you that are on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, you'll see the visuals of this commercial that I'm going to put up for my book. So let's talk about that. You guys can buy my book. It is The Reality About Reality, Returning to the Old Ways. I talk about what I'm talking about now and tell you about all of this information in my book. Let me play the commercial for it so we can pay the bills. You guys smash that like button on TikTok and smash those hearts for me so I can get through all the hoops that they want me to get through so I can continue giving you this content.
What is the reality about reality? Returning to the old ways. It is a comprehensive book about what is really going on here on this planet. It talks about the true spirituality that the controllers who think they own this planet have been keeping from you for thousands of years. It explains to you the knowledge that you gain from the universe itself when you live the way the prophets of the world throughout time told us how to live. Eat right, meditate, take care of yourself, treat others right. All the things they originally told us to do, but the controllers have removed from right in front of our eyes. The way to ascend to heaven. The reality about reality. Returning to the old ways. On sale worldwide online now.
Okay, so we're at a cycle. We're at a point in our societal structure where we're going to have more strife because there's so many of us that are striving to move upwards, okay? To move upwards back towards the source, whatever you call that, whatever you call the source, whatever you call heaven, Elysium, Valhalla, whatever you call that, the halls of Amente, whatever you call that. Okay, whatever you know that concept are. There are more of us that are moving upwards towards that than there are that are not. So the people who want to stay here are causing a lot of strife, trying to keep us from learning this knowledge and moving up because they like it here. They like the money. They like the power. They like the fame. They like this place. Okay, so it is your job to be diligent and to continue moving that way. Okay, so there's going to be strife. There always is, because the death throes of a societal structure that likes things the way they are in a status quo is going to continue. You know, people are saying we need to fight about that. We need to fight against that. You don't want to fight against that. There is no reason to physically fight against that. Let them be where they're going to be and let them do what they're going to do. You, me, everybody else, do our thing and learn, think for ourselves, start asking questions, start becoming more spiritual and realizing I am not the pain body. I am not the physical body. I am not the thinking mind. I am not the ego. There is something else that I am, and that is I have an immortal soul. I am an immortal soul. That means I am forever. That means there is a God, there is a creator, and I am trying to strive back towards that. Okay? No matter what they say to you, if they try to beat that out of you, anyone who tries to kill you to stop you from thinking those things or for yourself, or anyone tries to enslave you to stop you to thinking for yourself, there's a reason they're doing it, because they're controlling you. Okay? They're trying to control you and they're trying to stifle you in some way. Let them think they're stifling you and move on and do it on your own. You don't have to tell them. You don't have to fight against them. You don't have to put yourself in harm's way. Okay. You can stay and look at people and go, oh, okay, well, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. And then inside go, let me find the answer to that question. Let me move on from there and keep thinking. They can only take your life from you. They can't take your soul from you. They want you to believe you don't have a soul so that you're afraid for your life. Okay. Remember that. Okay. So there's going to be strife. That is the cycle of what happens in nature. Okay, so that is the cyclical nature. So when man flies again and conquers the ocean, then they'll learn to harness lightning. Then shall the time of warfare begin. Great shall the battle be twixt the forces of the forces. Great the warfare of darkness and light. Nations shall rise against nation, using the dark forces to shatter the earth. Weapons of force shall wipe out the earth man, right? So, oh, look out, the end of the world is coming. It's been happening. Look at World War I, World War II. Come on, look at all the wars in the Middle East. It's already happening. So it's not the end all to be all that the whole world's going to blow up, we're all going to die. We're surviving it. We've been surviving it for hundreds of years already, thousands of years if you look at it. So if you get it in your head that we're all going to die and the whole world's going to blow up, you'll run in fear and you'll try to do whatever you can to stave that off. It's already happening. We just need to stop it from happening. How do we stop it from happening? We all raise our vibration and we get to a place where we look at those leaders and we go, no, you're not doing that. No, you don't have that power because we're not giving it to you. All right, let's continue.
Aye, then shall the dark brothers open the warfare between light and the night, when man again shall conquer the ocean and fly in the air on wings like birds. When he has learned to harness the lightning, then shall the time of warfare begin. Great shall the battle be twixt the forces, great the warfare of darkness and light. Nation shall rise against nation, using the dark forces to shatter the earth. Weapons of force shall wipe out the earth man, until half of the races of men shall be gone. Then shall come forth the sons of the morning, and give their edict to the children of men, saying, O men, cease from thy striving against thy brother. Only thus can ye come to the light. Cease from thy unbelief, O my brother, and follow the path, and know ye are right. Then shall men cease from their striving, brother against brother, and father against son.
Okay, so I tell you truly, that is what is already happening. Okay, so you have people killing people, and they've been doing it for thousands of years. Then now, in the last 100 years, 150 years, you have people around the earth that are rising up and saying, stop killing each other, oh brother. Make peace and move through, right? So we have, then shall the age of light unfold, with all men seeking the light of the gold. So brother shall fight against brother, father against son. Okay, so let's go back a bit. Then shall the ancient home of my people rise from its place beneath the darkness and the ocean waves. So you're going to have this place where where war is going to happen. We've been having warfare going on forever and ever and ever. Okay. So think about that. Warfare has been going on forever. What has changed? What's changing is that the people of the earth are now changing and becoming more peaceful like and saying no to the warfare. Yeah, if you watch the legacy news media, they'll tell you there's nothing but war going on. That's how they make their money. They make their money by ratings and by spreading fear, because fear gets you to tune in. If they tell you the whole world is going to blow up any second, then you'll tune in to watch it happen, because you just know it's going to happen, and I got to be on whatever channel that you like to watch. Okay, and wherever you are on the planet, whatever country you're in, if they can get you to watch that, they'll sit there all day long and they'll have panels of people telling you that the world's coming to an end, and they've been doing it since I was born. Okay, they're doing the same thing with climate change. Climate change. When I was a kid, it was, we're going into an ice age. We're all going to die. We're all going to freeze. Then the next day, after me hearing that for 20 years of my life, the next day they went, global warming, global warming. We were wrong. The whole thing's melting and we're all going to die. That started in like 1981 or 1982. And they told me that in 20 years from now, Florida is going to be underwater. London's going to be underwater. All of the coasts are going to be underwater, and nothing's changed. Okay. Look out, World War III is coming. The world's going to come to an end. That started, I heard people talking about that when I was a kid. I'm 58. They've been preaching the same thing over and over and over and over and over for 50, 60, 70, 100 years. They've been telling us all that the world's coming to an end and we're all going to die. Revelation is here. The time of troubles, the time of tribulation, the Kali Yuga, the Ragnarok, it's coming. We're all going to die. We're living in the end times. The end times are here. We're all going to die. They have been saying that since the time of Jesus. They've been saying that since the time of Muhammad. They've been saying that since the time of everyone. They've been saying that since the time of Mahatma Gandhi. That was 120 years ago. They've been saying the same thing. They, the same people, have been saying the same thing since the dawn of time, telling us that we're all going to die, that the world's coming to an end, but it doesn't seem to happen. Why? Because you, my friend, me, my friend, in whatever religious background you are, whatever spiritual background you have become and are becoming a spiritual being if you're not already. You are unlocking knowledge within yourself by asking questions about what's going on in the world. And by doing that, you're unlocking a knowledge that is telling you, look, we're still here. It's not as bad as that. Oh, yes, it is. Really? The only time it's that bad is when you turn on certain legacy news channels or on every platform. When you turn the legacy news channels off, the propaganda machines, and look around, people are getting along. No, they're not. Go over there. They're fighting in one place over here. Yeah. And in one place over there. Yeah. But the rest of the world, no. Okay. Oh, but the governments are about to blow each other up. They're all going to spin off into space. And okay, if that happens, we have nothing to worry about then, right? There's an old Irish, I'm Irish. There's an Irish proverb, an Irish saying, okay, that says, right, thank you, right? Thank you. My wife is saying thank you to Jai Brady Healer. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you. I didn't notice that, so my wife is telling you thank you. So whatever it was that you contributed, that got my wife thanking you. I thank you as well. So thank you, Brooke, for saying that. So I saw that because I'm looking at the camera, and I apologize because I'm broadcasting on 4 different platforms and I sometimes miss that stuff. So thank you very much. So we as people are looking at this stuff because they're telling us these things. They're telling us that neighbors are fighting against neighbor, and we hate each other and fear each other and to look at each other and be violent towards each other. But when you turn them off and you walk out of your house, wherever you are, unless you're actually in a war zone, because those do exist. I'm not saying war is not happening. I'm not saying there's not war in the Middle East right now between the Palestinians and the Israelis. That's happening. That's real. At least I think it is. I haven't been there. They could be lying about all of that. It could be made up. I'm assuming that there's people there that are dying. I'm not going to assume that they're lied about it. I'm assuming that people are dying there. So yes, there's war and it's bad. There's another one that's going on in Europe over there with the Russians and the Ukrainians. But there's not a war in Australia. There's not a war in Iran. There's not a war in Japan. There's not a war in Korea. There's not a war in China. There's not a war in 99% of the earth right now. Okay. But they're focusing on those places that are, and they're saying it's going to blow up into a world war any second. They've been saying that about everything that has happened, people, in our lives. They've been saying that about everything that has happened every single time. Okay? I'm not saying to ignore it because it's bad. When people are shooting people and people are killing people, it's bad. Okay? And it sucks. And people are dying and we need to stop it. Okay? We need to stop it. I'm a minister. I'm a pacifist. I used to be about war when I was younger. I am not. And bad war should be the last thing that happens because nobody wins a war. Everybody dies on both sides. People die. That's been going on forever, unfortunately. Strife does happen. We, as a societal structure, have to become something greater. You, me, all of us have to become something greater. Whatever your spiritual practice, it is telling you to become something greater. There is no spiritual practice that says, kill everybody and go to war. There's only pieces of religious societies that are zealots. Okay, and those zealotal pieces in the Christian religion, in the Muslim religion, in the Hebrew religion, in every religion, there's a portion of it that says, murder everybody, man. Even the Viking religion had it, right? Because there's evil people that want to conquer and they want the world for themselves. So some of the churches want to conquer the whole world. They're businesses like a Starbucks or something. So they're wanting to conquer the world. You, me, all of us as individuals, you might have, whoever you are, you might be evil and you might want to conquer the planet. If you do, good on to you. Go for it. Try it. See how far you get with all those crazies up there that think they own it now. Ooh, you have fun. Let me know if you get there, though. I'll applaud you for overthrowing all of them and taking their shit. I'll go, ho, 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 that one came from nowhere and took over a whole fucking planet. He's a good one. Or she's a great one. You know what I mean? I'll go, hoo, look out for that one. My point is that there's a calamity that happens every day and things happen in a cyclical nature. And if you think it, we're in charge and listen to what they say in all of these Talmuds. Your focus determines your reality. So if they make you fear, and they make you believe the world's coming to an end, it will come to an end because we all designed it to make it so. If we say, no, the world is not coming to an end that way, because we are moving back to God, because God is there and God is the creator, whatever you call that, okay? Doesn't matter if you use the word God or you don't like the word God. You can say goddess, you can say they, them. I don't care what you think of that, right? I'm not a zealot that's going to kill you because you say God is more than one being, that God is the collective. I don't care if you say God is like wearing a toga and sitting on a mountaintop. If you have the concept of a creator of the universe and the concept of we are trying to move back towards the creator, and that is what we're doing here, that is the correct path. No matter what you call that deity, no matter what you call that spiritual practice, the way is upward from here, being nice to one another and loving yourself and loving the planet and loving each other and loving the animals and trying to take care of things and not going to war and not seeking power, money, fame, and control. Not being self-serving, but being in service to others. Okay. If you are self-serving, do what you're going to do. Okay. And if you're not, and you're a service to others, learn, ask questions. Learn. Let's continue with this, but it's not the end of the world, even when the cycles move the way they do. If you look at what they're saying about conquering the planet and conquering the waves and conquering the air and conquering the lightning, we on this earth have been living for 100 years or longer with all of that technology, and we're still here. We haven't blown each other up. We haven't killed off the entire population. Why? Because more of us here believe that we're not going to do that and we're not allowing them to do it. Or they'd recruit all of us and we'd be marching on one another by the billions trying to kill each other. We're not doing that. We're saying, no, we're already doing it. But they don't want you to know that because they're still trying to tell you, look out, it's all coming down, man. We're all going to die. Not true. We're all going to die. That is true because I can't live forever. You can't live forever in this physical form. So in the physical, you're right. We're all going to die someday. Everything dies in the physical. But know that you reside in the non-physical and that you will continue. You just don't know it if you're veiled. You just don't think it. And they try to play on that fear and stop you from learning that knowledge so that you stay in that fear place so they can control you and they can go, look out, you only have one life and it's coming to an end because those bad guys over there are coming to get you. All right. So Remember that and take things with a grain of salt. Okay. So then shall the ancient home of my people rise from its place beneath the dark waves. Then shall the age of the light be unfolded with all men seeking the light of the goal. So again, even with the strife, Thoth the Atlantean in this tablet is saying that even with the strife and the cycle that turns, what shall come from that? People rising once again back towards the light. Let's continue. Oh, I hit play and then I hit pause.
Then shall the ancient home of my people rise from its place beneath the dark ocean waves. Then shall the age of light be unfolded, with all men seeking the light of the goal. Then shall the brothers of light rule the people. Banished shall be the darkness of night. I, the children of men, shall progress onward and upward to the great goal. Children of light shall they become. Flame of the flame shall their souls ever be. Knowledge and wisdom shall be man's in the great age, for he shall approach the eternal flame, the source of all wisdom, the place of beginning, that is yet one with the end of all things.
Okay, so the source of the flame, light, back then you have to remember we didn't have lights like the incandescent light that you see above my head. We didn't have incandescent light until about 100 years ago, a little over 100 years ago on the planet. Before that, light was literally always a flame. Okay, everywhere around the world, candles and lamps burning a flame or a fire in a hearth, right? In a fire pit or in a hearth. So when these were written if you go back far enough in time, you hear them saying sons of light, sons of fire, because fire was light and fire still is light. That light is shining up here above my head because of the vibration of the energy in there, and the electricity is making the molecules ignite and glow because they're moving so fast they're starting to glow. So and it's hot, you'll get burned. Okay, so it is fire. The sun is doing the same thing. It's not actually on fire, you just think it is. It's actually vibrating so fast that the molecules are vibrating so fast because they're being condensed and slammed into one another. They're actually glowing, and there's heat that's radiating off of it, and that heat is glowing, and so it's becoming light. It's not actually on fire, but it is. So it's not like fire, like a wood burning, but it is particles that have illuminated because they're moving so fast that they're glowing. They're creating friction, so there's heat that comes off of that, and that heat is keeping us alive. And then the glowing is the light that's coming off of it, and that's a different radiation. But it's not actually fire. Everyone thinks it's fire, but you can't get near it because we'll burn to death. We'll die. We'll ignite into fire and die. Okay. But so we're moving upward. Okay. We will then move upward to the light. All right. So you have to realize this. So that is let's see. In the great age, for he shall approach the eternal flame, the eternal light, source of God, source creator, the source of all wisdom. Okay. The place of beginning. So remember when Moses went up on the mountain and said to God, God was talking and he said, who shall I say sent me? People are going to ask me for your name. And he said, I am that I am. I am the Alpha and the Omega. I am the beginning and the end. I am the all and the nothing. Okay. So I am the beginning and the all wisdom. Okay. This was the creator that the Hebrews called Adonai, which just means he who has no name. Right. So the creator of the universe, who we don't always know the name of the creator, right? We have other names in different religions that say that, but most of them, that name means the all or the one, right? Allah means the all, right? The one. So Adonai means the all or the one. So the vernacular had turned into the word God, and God means the all, the creator, the one. So it's not really a name. People don't know what the name is of the creator. It's a nameless God. And most of these gods are around, but some of the gods of the ancient religions, they gave a name to. Okay, that doesn't mean that that's a different person. Well, that's a demigod, actually. That's not the true God of the universe. No, that person to those people was the God of the universe. They just named him Thor or Odin, the All-Father. Odin in that religion is the name of the creator of the universe. Shiva in that religion is the creator of the universe. Okay, they just gave it a name. We don't want to kill them because they gave it a name. It's still the same creator. It's still the same message. Okay, it's just that the religion, all the religions want to conquer the planet like a Starbucks. They want to have their own stores everywhere and everybody going to their stores, right? So they say, no, that's not our God. That's a different God. That's a pagan God. That's not a real God. Well, it's still the creator of the universe, and the message is still the same. We're still saying the same message. You're supposed to be rising up and moving from here and trying to get back to source. If it's the Vikings, you're trying to go to Valhalla, okay, that's the Great Hall. Instead of the halls of Amente, it's the Great Hall. Valhalla means the Great Hall. But the halls of Amente, to the Egyptians, that's the Great Hall. It's just called Amente. Amente means all, the hall of all. So you need to realize these things are pretty much the same. They just have different names. When you say peace be with you, and in the Christian religion, and then the crowd says, and also with you, back to the priest, that's what is that? Assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam, or does that mean that God is great? My Arabic isn't that good. I'm still learning that, so I apologize to anybody. I don't want to offend anyone with that, but it's still the same words that you say in that language that means peace be upon you and also upon you. It's the same words. So why is it that those two religions are killing each other when they're both based on the same Talmud? The Christian religion is based on the Hebrew text that God gave Moses, and the Muslim text in religion is based on the text that God gave Moses. The Jewish religion is based on the text that God gave Moses. Those three religions are based on the same book that was given from the same God. So why are we all at war with one another over who's right and who the name of the prophet is down here? You know what I mean? Why are we doing that? The message is the same from the same God. We just don't know the name of that God. And all the other religions are saying the same thing. They just have a different word for that God and a different word in their language that means the same place that we're going to. Elysium, heaven, Valhalla, halls of Amente, paradise. It's all the same concept of where we're going. It's just the tongues. Remember when in the scriptures they said that God's going to separate everybody and give them tongues. So we think we're saying something different, but we're not. Assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam, peace be with you, and also with you. It's just different language. That's all. We're saying the same words. Do you see? So we're worshiping the same creator of the universe. The only difference is that we're choosing different laws that fit our cultures to do so, right? So the zealots would try to control all of us to kill each other to keep us from realizing that. Is my point. Okay, so let's continue. So man shall move upwards, even after the strife, and approach the immortal flame, the source of all wisdom, the place of being, that is yet one with the end of all things. In the time that is yet unborn, all shall be one, and one shall be all. Okay, let's continue.
In a time that is yet unborn, and shall be one, and one shall be all. Man, a perfect flame of this cosmos, shall move forward to a place in the stars. I shall move even from out of this space-time into another beyond the stars. Long have ye listened to me, O my children. Long have ye listened to the wisdom of Thoth. Now I depart from ye into darkness. Now I go to the halls of Amente, there to dwell in the future when light shall come again to man. Yet know ye, my spirit shall ever be with thee, guiding thy feet in the pathway of light. Guard ye the secrets I leave with thee, and surely my spirit will guard thee through life. Keep thine eyes ever on the pathway to wisdom. Keep the light as thy goal evermore. Fetter not thy soul in bondage of darkness. Free let it wing in its flight to the stars. Now I depart thee to dwell in Amente. Be thou my children in this life and the next. The time will come when ye too shall be deathless, living from age to age, a light among men. Guard ye the entrance to the halls of Amente. Guard ye the secrets I have hidden among ye. Let not the wisdom be cast to barbarians. Secret shall thou keep it for those who seek light. Now depart I, receive thou my blessing. Take thou my way and follow the light. Blend thou thy soul in the great essence. One with the great light, let thy consciousness be. Call thou on me when thou dost need me. Use my name 3 times in a row. Chekatet, a relic, formalities.
Okay, so it's still literally saying whether or not you agree with the idea of Thoth being anything, the message is still the same that is being taught around the world in all of these Talmuds. So even if Thoth was created in 1928, it was still created from the same message that is in every single religion around the world. The messages are the same in all of these religions around the world. Okay, it is still the same message. It is still being told to all of us in all of these spiritual practices. All of them, every one of them are telling you the same thing. Strive upward. Have faith in the Creator. Look upward. Look towards the creation. Look towards the Creator. So whatever religion that you follow, if you follow one, whatever spiritual practice that you follow, if you follow one, look deeper into that spiritual practice and you will see that they're talking about a way. Okay? These prophets that were teaching this, that became a religion, were telling you that there is a way for you to be following. That way is the way upward, the way outward, the way away from here. Okay? All right. So 3 hours, that's a long time. We finished that one. So we'll start next week on the Emerald Tablet number 13 and we'll continue. I'll be back on TikTok at some point during the week. I'll also be back on all these other platforms that I'm on. So Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. And the MP3 file is on my podcast, Orion Rising. You guys can look that up. I'm everywhere. I'm on all the platforms. You can look me up by my name. I have links to the podcast where I talk about and show you the differences and more importantly, the same things. The things are the same, the common denominators in all of these religions, because I am here to help you. I am here to remind you that love is the way back to the Creator. I keep looking up, for those of you, I'm looking up and down because I'm looking at two cameras, because one camera is on TikTok and the other one is out for the rest of the world on the other things, on the other platforms. Those of you listening on the MP3 broadcast, you can't see my face anyways. You just hear me speaking. Know that the underlining message in all spiritual ways that are existing on this earth throughout all of time are the same. There is a way that you find your way back to the Creator, and it is not living in the flesh. It is not living in 3D. It is not clicks, likes, power, money, fame, control. It is none of those things. It is a spiritual way. It is a way of finding your everlasting soul, remembering that, uncovering that darkness of night, that veil that has veiled you, and realizing the I am. I am an immortal soul. I count. I am everlasting. I am forever. I have a soul. I am that spirit. I am that light body. I will become that light body and move ever upward. That is what they are all teaching us. Look into that. Ask questions. Don't believe a word I've said to you. I say this every time I'm on the air. Don't believe me. Think I'm lying to you. Think for yourself. Read, learn, go down those rabbit holes, because what you will find if you go down those rabbit holes is that there is a way off of this planet, and that way is only through a spiritual way. If you kill your body, you will return. You don't know it right now because you don't remember it. You will return until you learn the lessons you're supposed to learn here, and then you can move away from this place up towards the light, back towards the light. You don't have to be spiritual or religious for that. You don't even have to be spiritual. You don't even have to believe that there is anything other than this physical plane. The only thing you have to believe is that you need to think for yourself and ask questions. And you need to look into that. What is this place? Why am I here? Who am I? What's going on here? Who cares about the religions? Who cares about the politics? Who cares about all of that? The only thing you really need to care about is yourself, your well-being, and what am I here for? Look into that, ask those questions. You will find answers, and you will find more questions by finding those answers, and then you will find your way. Your way is the way you are walking in life. Trust it. I don't have any way that I'm trying to sell you. What I'm trying to sell you is think for yourself, look into those things, and move forward. If you stay in the same place that you're in, nothing will ever change. Move forward. Change your life by changing your mind, by changing your perspective, by learning and trying to figure out who you are, why you're here. If you just settle for your job and settle for that life and settle for nothing, that's all you'll ever be. If you change your mind and change your life and change your attitude and learn and ask questions, you will become something more. What that is what you determine. I love you guys. Have a great day. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening, or tomorrow. This has been Orion Rising. I am Leonard O'Neill. I am your host. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good morrow, depending on where you are in the world tuning into the show. I love you. Have a great day.